never loved me like I loved you. You never loved me like I loved you.
This is SportsVisions 92.1. You're listening to the SportsVisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Tuesday morning and welcome everybody to another edition of the SportsVisions Morning Show. I am Walter and Betty Jones's baby boy, Daryl DJ Jones, Coach Bush's grandson, the Thrifter, Thrift Barringer. Good morning.
Great morning, DJ. Ready to rock and roll?
Ready to rock and roll. And, of course, the guy, our analytics specialist, Richard Holdridge, is in the building. What's up, Rich?
Good morning, DJ and Thrift. Glad to be in the building with you guys.
Absolutely fantastic. Great Tuesday morning to everybody out there. We want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in this morning, and especially our folks out there on Facebook. We want to thank you for waking up with us this morning and letting us start your day, or giving us an opportunity to help you start your day. And again, we appreciate you. We don't take it for granted. We know that you could be doing anything else, but of course, listening to us and how we're going to actually get this morning started for you. But we also want you to make sure that you spread the gospel, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that the SportsVisions Morning Show is on the air right now. And for all of you folks out there in WLTC HD2, SportsVisions 92.1 FM land, we love you, but it ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
Hello, somebody.
Guys, it's time to get this party started. Hey, man, what's going on with Jimmy Butler? Man, I thought he, hurt himself. He had a hip pointer of something of some sort, but it seems like, that didn't matter. He came back, man. He has galvanized the troops amongst the Golden State Warriors. And you know what? There is hope that, Steph Curry and Draymond Green could possibly make it to the next level.
100%, DJ. And I think, Steph Curry had a little bit of an off night last night. It was the other guys, including Jimmy, that stepped up huge. They take that 3-1 lead. And as I thought, they're going to take down the Rockets. Rockets are good, but they need a number one option. So look at them in the offseason as being maybe Giannis or Kevin Durant. They're going to go out and get someone like that because they're one piece away from being an elite team. But how about those Warriors?
Absolutely. I just had to bring it up because, again, I know we gave Jimmy Butler hell when he was having his charade, trying to leave. And that was all part of that was the method to the madness of actually getting out of Miami. I hate that it's gotten to this point where players have to, show their behinds to do so, because you got so many young kids, so many fans that adore these guys. And when they act like that, it's not a good look. But you know what? At the end of the day, professional sports has gone full circle, and it's a different presentation now of how these guys negotiate, how they get what they want, how they demand what they want. And that was just a part of it. And again, you know what? We wish Jimmy Butler the best. We'll get back to that a little bit later in the show, but I got to talk about what we got coming up. As far as our lineup this morning, we're going to have Haley Hardage. And you say, who is Haley Hardage? Well, Haley Hardage is the state championship cheer team coach for the Columbus Blue Devils. And, of course, they won a nice, let me turn my ears up a little bit so I can hear myself. Yeah, they won a state championship. They were awarded the Morehouse School of Medicine sports team of the year back a few weeks ago at our Female Athlete of the Year Awards luncheon. Haley is, of course, going to be able to come on and hopefully express and give us a little behind the scenes of how important cheerleaders are to the school, how important they are to the alumni, the teams that they cheer for, the work that they put in. Again, and we say that all the time right here, on the SportsVisions Morning Show, Thrift, that the cheerleaders are just as much of the game day experience as anybody. And they set the tone, and they keep the energy up during the games. It's a lot of things that you might think they're just some pretty young ladies on the sideline. They're just, kind of doing their thing. No, this is traditional. This goes back. And I don't know the history of cheerleaders, but I just know that I'm proud that we were able to celebrate and honor them back in April.
I am too, DJ, and I think this is awesome that we're having her on. And you're right. Game day sets its tone, whether it be football, basketball, whatever they're doing. They do a great job, and they're phenomenal athletes, and in their competition, we're very dominant. So can't wait to have Haley on.
And also, Jack Patterson, the WRBL sports director, he'll be with us a little bit later in the day. And of course, it is Tuesday, a new time, or at least a new series for our Columbus Clingstones. They're back in Synovus Park, and we are going to hear from the voice of the Clingstones, Jack Johnson. He'll be here, and we're also going to be giving away a pair of tickets to the Clingstones Biloxi game. You guys, we're going to figure out how we want to do that a bit later. I think we probably might need to drive them to one of our pages, one of our web pages through it, and just kind of, because it's going to be hard. Because I thought about all kinds of stuff. I thought about the 90-second caller, but then we wouldn't have time to do the show because you'd be answering the phone
all day.
And then so we might make mention of our Facebook page and do something with that. Dewey McClain is a good friend and, again, just a loyal confidant that I've been knowing for quite some time. He's a former Atlanta Falcon. He's also a state rep here in the state of Georgia, District 100. That's just up in right about around Norcross, I believe it is. But he is going to be on the show. Of course, Dewey is synonymous with all the player relations as far as alumni and retired and all that good stuff. And he's going to chop it up. He's a very, very integral part of the CBA of the past few years, and he's very instrumental in setting up or being a part of setting up the retired players and all of our benefits and all of our medical deal. And it's going to be good to talk to him. Now, what you don't know about Dewey is that if Dewey McClain, Dale Murphy, Chipper Jones, Dominic Wilkins, you name them, Steve Barkowski, if all of these guys were in a room, I would beg to differ that Dewey McClain might be the most popular and the most celebrated in the room because of his stint as a Falcon, his duties in the community. He was over Parks and Rec in Atlanta. That was one of his jobs. He was also a labor union guy. I mean, it was just and then, of course, what his work that he's done with the retired players in the National Football League. He is a rock star in Atlanta, and we're going to have an opportunity to chop it up with Dewey. More importantly, I'm just interested in seeing how he feels about the direction of the Falcons. He played for the Falcons in 1976 till about 1980, 81. And again, a very, very upstanding citizen in the community, to include an ambassador for the Atlanta Falcons. So you can ask all your Arthur Blank questions and all of your Raheed or whatever the coach's name is.
Raheem Morris.
Yeah, you can ask him all about that guy and how what he thinks about it. But I'm sure that Dewey would not beat up on or badger anybody with the Atlanta Falcons, as we hear all kinds of craziness coming out of that town.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, DJ. And Dewey's was an excellent interview last time, so I can't wait to get insight like we always do, and then get what he thinks about this Falcons draft and see how we're going to do.
Richard, you have a pretty decent. I think things have slowed down just a little bit for you to kind of catch your breath. What are you getting excited about next?
Well, I mean, I'm getting excited about this homestand for the Columbus Clingstones. 12 home games in a row. Of course, they got the Monday off between the two 6-game series. And, it's kind of slow this week on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Our next games are not going to be until Thursday, so it's just an opportunity just to spend time with the family, but also keep an eye on everything else that's going on in the world of sports, and getting excited about talking about it.
12 games down at the ballpark, down at the Synovus Park, man. You know what? If you don't know, or if you didn't know who the hell the Clingstones are, you're going to find out this week, because, again, you got overload of it, and it's going to be outstanding. I know that we have some information here that we're not privy to share today, but we do know that certain members of the SportsVisions staff will be very, very involved with the war with the Clingstones in the upcoming days.
Yep, that should be. Hopefully, we'll get some ability to talk about those things coming up, DJ, in the not too distant future. Literally coming up this week. So excited for these back-to-back homestands, and who knows? They take down Biloxi. They have a good week next week. They're right back in the thick of things at the top of the division.
Absolutely. Now, what we do know is that, again, we're getting geared up for playoffs, and I know that as of right now, with Georgia Alabama Sports Live, you guys have it pegged. You guys have it ranked. You guys have it polled. go ahead and share that poll right now as we approach the playoffs and we approach the end of the season for some. And again, we just like to know who are some of the favorites, that'll be coming out of this area.
Yeah, so number one, Glenwood, they take on St. James this week on the road. Now, they're ranked in the top 2 in the 3A classification, but the way Alabama works, DJ, is when you move on, it's about who traveled the farthest in that previous round. Well, Glenwood's had 2 home games in back-to-back rounds. St. James, well, guess what? They were on the road last week, so they get to host this week. Even though Glenwood's got a better record and a higher seed, they do by travel. Don't ask me why. I don't think it's a very smart rule in my opinion, but it is what it is. So they'll be on the road against St. James doubleheader. St. James number 3 ranked team according to number 5th ranked team in Alabama Sports Writers poll, and that is going to be coming up this Thursday. So they're ranked number 1. Central number 2. They beat Baker, and they're taking on Fairhope this week on Friday. If they win that, they'll take on either Auburn or Enterprise next week. So Coach Keogh's team's doing great. Brookstone's number 3. They got one more regular season game on Friday against Westfield, and they have already clinched the region, and they're number 2 in this GIAA. Number 4 and 5 are Harris County and Northside. Both of them won their first-round playoff matches. Northside at home against Midtown. Harris County on the road against Pace Academy. The problem is Northside got a bad side of the bracket. They have to go on the road this week to the number 1 ranked team, Blessed Trinity. But they've got great pitching. That travels. Coach Powell's team could upset. Harris County is going to be on the road against Alatoona. They got 2 Division I, Georgia Tech and Georgia pitcher commit. So that's going to be tough, but Coach Dimitri's team could do it. That's also later this week. And then the final 10 are number 6, Calvary, 2nd in the region, top 5 in the GIAA. C. Smith's team right in the thick of things of winning a state. Number 7, Columbus. They're the only Muskogee County school still alive. They won a best of 3 against Richard. What was the name of the team? Sonoraville. And then the rest of the top 10. Number 7, Shaw. 6-8 Shaw, They came up short. Their season is done, but good season for Coach Shockford. And also Jordan. They lost on the road and they came up short, but winning 17 games for Coach David Lane. That is nothing you hang your head down about. And the last team, number 10, Pacelli. They still got a series left this week, DJ, and they'll be in the playoffs next week. So there's your top 10 in baseball.
Absolutely fantastic. And Richard, you are an analytics guy. You got anything you want to add to the fact that, of course, you heard the poll, and I know you know the poll, but numbers-wise, what do you see happening here as everything unfolds?
Well, first of all, like Thrift and I really put a lot of thought into this list, and I know that it's tough because there's a lot of talent in this area. But at the top of this list, we've got teams that we feel can win a state championship. We're talking Glenwood Central, Brookstone. Right there, Harris County, Northside. It's going to be a little bit tougher because they're both in 4A. 4A, in my mind, is the best classification in the GHSA because you've got North Oconee, you've got Stars Mill, the defending champions, and, of course, Blessed Trinity, the overall number 1 seed. So, yeah, Harris County and Northside is going to have a tough time. Calvary's got an outside shot. Right now, they're the 5 seed. If they could win that first round and get into the second round and possibly take on FPD, the number 1 seed, we could possibly see a Calvary-Brookstone playoff matchup.
It's state championship at Synovus Park, which would be awesome for this city.
Yes, indeed.
So we'll be cheering for that.
Now, again, I've asked you guys this question every couple of weeks or so. Who are the better players that you guys have called and covered as far as pitchers and hitters and fielders and, and coaches? Obviously, we gave the rankings, but again, even in those rankings, that doesn't necessarily mean that who you guys think are the best coaches, it falls in that place. So let's just start off with some of the better pitchers in pitching in the league.
Pitching, Tyler Sykes, Chang-Woo Kim. I'll name those 2. I know Richard's got a few more. I don't want to name all of them. Chang-Woo Kim is the pitcher for Brookstone. He's got like a sub-1 ERA. He's like 8-2 on the year. He's going to be all-state. He has been absolutely sensational as the number 1 for Brookstone. And then followed by Tyler Sykes. He's the number 1 for Glenwood. This guy's been a 3-year starter. He's been a 3-time state champion, and he's trying to end his career with 1 more. He has just been absolutely fantastic. He'll be playing at Columbus State next year. So he's been great as well, Richard.
Yes. Before you go, Richard, I want to ask this question, Thrift and Richard, with regards to these pitchers. And I know when you go to these college games and you go to, the minor leagues, because, pitchers in high school are godsend because, again, they're so rare. Now, when you guys are calling games, do you spot any scouts from colleges or major or minor league baseball or of that sort?
I don't know if I've seen minor league, but I have seen some college scouts that are out there. But a lot of the guys, the top guys, have already been recruited and signed, like Mason McClain, who is the best player in this area. We're getting to him in a minute, but he's signed with Auburn. Sykes, he signed with Columbus State before the season even started. So a lot of these guys, for their senior year, have already signed on. So I didn't see a ton of them, but I have seen a few, especially for those younger talented teams. Now,
the reason I asked that question, because in June there's a humongous amateur draft, and they draft kids straight out of high school. So that's why I was saying that. And again, June is just in the next, several weeks. So, that's the method to that madness.
Yeah.
Now, as far as, position players, Richard.
Yeah. For the position players, I mean, obviously Mason McClain is not just a great pitcher. He's also a great hitter. I mean, he's going to do great things at Auburn. Sam Brown over at Central, he's the leading player for home runs. For the Georgia teams, when it comes to top hitters, for Pacelli, they got Connor Zitrower. Brookstone's got quite a few. Mercer Hudson's the leading home run leader, but you also got Brendan Neal. You got some five-tool players at that top of the lineup for Brookstone. For Northside, you got Chris Biggs. And for Calvary, Bryson Brooks, Cam Houston. Columbus has got Michael Nottaman. Caden Bryans is leading the team in batting average. I know that Shaw season just ended, but of course, I can't forget the Long twins, Kingsley Long and Kingston Long. I know they had just a tough break against Crisp County, losing in the first round. But I think Hardaway, Christian Ellaby leading the team in stolen bases. Bobby Gary Jr. was the leading home run leader. And then Jordan Cade Evans, one of their top hitters.
Okay, now let's talk about I thought we were talking about fielders. You went to hitters or
hitters? Well, I mean, hitters and as far as fielders, I mean, Brendan Neal, just an outstanding shortstop. Cam Houston. I mean, like when I'm actually analyzing these players, I look at their batting average, I look at their stats.
I asked for specifically the better fielders.
Again, that's right. Okay, so basically, when it comes to fielding, I mean, obviously, Cam Houston at Calvary, Brendan Neal, Mercer Hudson, great catcher behind. Actually, Gray Jones is starting to become a really good catcher for Brookstone. I would say Jacob Velos for Pacelli.
Logan Henderson out there for Glenwood. I saw him make a diving catch against the wall that would have gave up 3 runs last week. So, he's pretty good too. So, there's a lot of elite defenders, and I'm telling you, when you got a good defense, I've seen a lot of teams give up errors, and it can cost you big time. So, I do want to make mention a few. Sam Laney, great pitcher for Northside. We got such a great pitching staff and fielders. I mean, baseball, there is a plethora of elite talent around here.
Well, one thing is for sure, you guys do a hell of a job, and you got, again, if of anybody, not just the coaches, and not just not necessarily anybody affiliated with the schools. You guys are the only neutral guys that we have out there on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. That, again, that's why I ask you questions. And I know you guys know that information, but I want you guys to share that information with the people out there that they might think that their school might be the best. But again, getting this information out there in the atmosphere is always effective.
Yeah, and in terms of like best coaching job this year, DJ, I put Steve Smith up there because this is probably the least talented Calvary team we've seen in the last 6 seasons. And yet they're right there in the thick of things. Now, they finished second in the region, but they won every series. So Brookstone only has 2 losses. Their only 2 losses were to 2 out of 3 to Calvary. So they finished first in the region. But Calvary, when I say won every series, every team in the region, they play 3 times. And they won 2 out of 3 against every team, including Brookstone. I think that means something. And I think this Calvary team, led by Steve Smith, will be right there in the deep playoff run, the GIAA.
Now, that's strong, Richard, when you consider how great a season that Glenwood has had with Tim Fanning and under his tutelage.
Yeah, and they fit in just nicely in the AHSAA first year, and they beat everybody on their schedule. And, they didn't start playing 3A opponents that were not in their area until the playoffs. So they took care of business against Hale County and the defending 3A champions, Thomasville. They do have a tough matchup against St. James, but Glenwood is that team that's right in there. And I do want to say something. There's a possibility they could end up meeting Lee Scott Academy in the semifinals, But Lee Scott's got a tough matchup against Prattville Christian.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be able to talk about some of the local colleges, and we'll talk about what CVCC, Columbus State, and, the like, see how they're doing. And I know that you guys know what you know. All right, you're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Hey, I'm in the mood to put something up. I wanna go missing. I need a prescription.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. One person is dead and a suspect is in custody after a stabbing on Williams Road in Columbus. Police say 22-year-old Abigail Cordura was killed around 8 p.m. last night. The Violent Crimes Unit is now investigating this case. Meanwhile, a legal standoff continues at Columbus City Hall, with 6 counselors clashing with city manager Isaiah Hughley over a 2022 pandemic loan to his wife. Both sides now have lawyers, but neither addressed it in last week's meeting. Council meets again this morning at 9 o'clock. Meanwhile, in the Yellowhammer State, the race for Alabama governor in 2026 is taking shape, with Senator Tommy Tuberville and Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth potentially in the mix. Republicans want fresh ideas, while Democrats, including Doug Jones, call for candidates who connect with rural voters. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Tuesday morning. Those temperatures are in the mid to low 60s, and we're under mostly cloudy skies to kick off the day. Mostly cloudy skies give way to partly cloudy skies by midday, with those temperatures near 80 degrees. Those highs later this afternoon and early evening reach the mid to low 80s. And we're going to be tracking just a few stray showers or storms in that forecast. A better chance of rainfall, though, coming Friday by the way of a front as it sweeps through the region.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander should hire trial attorneys. Paid active dramatization. Past results and not guarantee future results in each case.
Why that guy driving so stupid? We on the expressway, it's raining. He gonna get into an accident. Oh, look, it just happened. He just hit that car. Pull over. We gotta help him. This is bad. This is real bad. What's that? Look, what's that running? It's a dog. It's running. It's on the expressway. It's running. Think he's gonna bite somebody? You see him? That's Top Dog. He just bit him. Bit that insurance company. Bit him bad. That was real bad. Nah, crazy that look. Dog on the expressway. That was looking real crazy. Dog was on the expressway. I know who I'm calling. If I ever get in one, if it ever happened to me, I'm calling the dog. Top Dog Law.
Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
Aflac, helping people for more than 6 decades focus on recovery and not financial stress. Check out their policies at aflac.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Buying a new car might make you say things like,
I can't believe it.
Seriously, it's ours?
Is this real life?
Move it.
Yeah, it's real life, all right.
But what you really need to say is something that can protect your new ride.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Yep, we're here to help you choose the coverage you need. So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
You know what's better than a limited time deal?
an unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the Sports Visions morning show. Let's get back to DJ and Thrift on Sports Visions 92.1.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions morning show. Good Tuesday morning, everybody. We are off and running this week. Great show lined up for you today. As of course, I made mention of Haley Hardage from Columbus High School. She's the cheer team dance, or actually the cheer coach for the of course state championship Columbus Blue Devils, and of course Jack Patterson with WRBL. He's the sports director. He'll be up with us at about 7:45. Jack Johnson, the voice of the Columbus Clingstones. He's on deck for 8 o'clock. And, of course, Dewey McClain, my good friend, state representative and former Atlanta Falcon. He will be with us at 8:30, and I am looking forward to that. Guys, before we went to the break, we talked about some of the better teams and some of the better players and fielders and hitters and pitchers in high school that you guys have covered this year. Let's talk about on the collegiate level. I know you guys do some things with CVCC. Let's include the softball with that as well. How has that season gone?
Well, DJ, both the teams, CVCC softball and baseball, have had their ups and their downs. Okay, so for the baseball program, Richard's been there to call quite a few games. They're on the outside looking in the playoffs right now. They need to finish out this week strong. If they're able to do that, they may give themselves an outside chance. In terms of softball, their season's pretty much done. They finished last week with sophomore day. They haven't overcome a lot of injuries. They're one of the best hitting teams. Coach Osteen's done a great job. Girls like Mackenzie Childs, who's been great. McGowan, who's been an excellent pitcher. And Alexa McCoy, who's been really good. I mean, they've had girls that are leading the state in home runs, leading the state in average. They just make a lot of errors in the field, which contributed to losing big leads or then being down a lot and then having to make a comeback and just falling up short. So really tough season for CVC softball, but baseball, Richard's got a lot of insight on them.
And Richard, before you talk about baseball, I think that we should lead with a unique situation because I don't know how it's done anywhere else, but here, as far as CVCC baseball, they play up in the day before school is out. Before, and again, I know there's a reason they don't have the lights and they don't want to get dark on them. But again, is that a momentum swing? Does that give them an edge? Did you think?
I think it does because they do play double headers. You're up and you're ready to go. The games are starting at 1. They finish about 6:30. And they try to make sure to get these games in because, like when the season started back in February, it started getting dark right around 6:30. So they wanted to try to hurry up these games. It's a little bit lighter in the day. But I think that I don't know how the baseball players, like, they get acclimated to playing in day games during night games. They kind of just, they're used to playing with the sun, have to battle the sun with pop flies. And then you have the lights. You got to deal with the glare in the lights. But, I think that Coach Vic has got them used to playing in the day. And I think when they go on the road, too, these are day games as well. So they don't have to play a whole lot of night games.
Thrift, with the tradition of this program being so successful, and you know how far back that goes, again, what kind of a pressure or what kind of impact does that force on the coach and the players today?
A lot because of the history and what Adam Thomas built up for over 20 years, making to multiple College World Series. It was a given fact CV was going to win state every single year. Making to the College World Series was a normal thing. They hadn't been close to that the last couple of seasons. Now, the top 6 teams make the playoffs in baseball. Right now, they are tied for 6. They're 16-16 in conference play. Don't worry about overall record. They are 21-29. That does not matter. What matters is their conference record. They're tied with Southern Union. They take on Snead State. That's the second worst team in the conference. They have a 4-game series, 2 on the road, 2 at home. If they can win all 4 of those, Southern Union takes on a team who they're tied with at 16-16. They take them on Southern Union takes on a team in the top 5. So they may lose one. So if they lose one and CV wins all 4, they will be in the playoffs. Southern Union won't. So let's hope Coach Vic Seaman, that's all you need in baseball. Don't throw out record. When you get to these tournaments, anything can happen. They just want to be able to make it. They got to finish out strong. And if they're able to, they'll be right back in the state tournament.
In the same light, let's turn the spotlight on your alma mater, Thrift, Columbus State, the Cougars, how Coach Appleton and his team has been.
Yeah, so I was talking actually with my good friend Carson Bowers, who is one of the assistant coaches up there. It's the same thing with CVCC. It's been an up and down year for them. Their starting pitchers have a 7 ERA, and their whole lineup is a good team from 7, 8, 9. They got good players. They don't have that elite guy. They don't have that guy that can come in as batting 400. They just got a bunch of good guys. And right now, with the pitching not being up to Greg Appleton standards, you remember how good of a pitcher he was at Georgia. And because of how the conference is, they've played better, he said, the last couple of weeks. And they're heading into conference tournament play this weekend. So we'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah, and they are the 4 seed as they are going to take on Georgia Southwestern. That's going to be this Friday, May the 2nd, as North Georgia has won the entire conference. They are hosting the Peach Belt Conference Tournament, and we also have the softball team that's also in the conference tournament as the Lady Cougars is the 6th seed. They are taking on Flagler, and they're also starting on May the 2nd. So the regular season's over for the Cougars and the Lady Cougars softball teams, and so we wish them the best of luck in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament.
Now, guys, as I always say, you got something else to do?
Well, I did want to add in there, if we're going to stay on CSU real quickly, DJ, which is kind of going under the wraps. I don't know how.
Really
I want to try to make this happen. We need to have him on the show. They hired a director of athletics.
Okay.
And his name is Justin Hay. And this guy is big on funding. So kind of like before Jay Sparks when they hired Todd Reeser, they want to look for someone that's going to raise money within the athletic organization. So he is coming from Lenore Ryan University out of North Carolina. He was the deputy athletic director of external relations. So he helped raise a lot of money there. So Dr. Rayfield, who's the head of the school, thinks this is a big time hire. His name is Justin Hay. So I will talk to, the man that makes everything move there, Jimbo Davis, and see if we can't get
Jimbo.
Listen, if there's nothing, if you get something CSU related, or if I got a problem, the first person I'm calling because Jimbo Davis, and he literally handles it right then and there, and he will get on them if it's not right. I want to make sure we can set that up because we need to introduce him to the sports visitation around this community. The fact that it's not really talked about, obviously, there's been so much happening in our area. I understand, but really I'm gonna see if we can't make that happen. Justin Hay was hired as director of athletics. This happened about 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Wow. You know what? The funny thing about it, and maybe funny is not the word, but you know what? I haven't heard it on any other outlets either.
That's what I'm saying, because that's why I think there's so much happening with the Clingstones, the River Dragons, NFL draft. I'm gonna chop it up to got buried.
Yeah.
I'm gonna chop it up to that. Because I don't want to call out anyone about getting information out there, because it's not like I was, directly sent information. I got put on an email chain earlier this year. So I get every time they play a game, I'm always getting updates with their game notes. That's how I saw that. It wasn't like someone directly from Columbus State said, hey, we're doing this. You want to set up an interview, which is, kind of how those things work.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe they have reached out. Maybe I'm just not a big enough name. Maybe they reached out to the other news stations and it got buried on their end, but we're going to try to make sure we can have this guy on.
All right. That's good. That's good. Hey, and you know what, guys, I was asking about the 2 local teams, both the junior college at CVCC as well as Columbus State University, because we just got through talking about the top players in the region, the top hitters, the fielders, pitchers, all of that is synonymous to these programs. And, these kids, want to go off and play at the next level, and many of them do. So in all of that, do you think, is there a representation on these clubs, both at CVCC and Columbus State, that shows, that these kids go and play for these 2 schools?
Yeah, absolutely. Columbus State actually has a former Calvary Christian, Bailey Thorne, who is the leading home run leader, one of the top pitchers And when you look at CVCC, that top of that starting lineup, Gavin Blair and Brody Dixon were both Smith Station pitchers. Josh McDonald, one of their leading hitters, played at Troup County. I mean, that's over across up in I-185. You got Justin Velos over at CVCC who played in Northside. And so, Columbus State and CVCC, they do a good job recruiting this area because there's just a lot of baseball talent in this area. And it's great to have these baseball players that get featured not only on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, but in the city where people can come see their games.
Another guy, Coach Massey, who has come from Brookstone High School. He's another guy that's at Columbus State University. You also made mention, of course, of Bailey Thorne. But if you look at their roster right now, Peyton Burton, who came from Central High School, he's also on there. But they got a ton of guys from Georgia. If you know Greg Appleton, he loves Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. Those are his big recruiting grounds. So if you go look, Bailey Thorne, Kate's Massey, and the guy I just made mention who came from Central. Now I just lost my train of thought on who he is. Anyway, Connor Folds, also another one from Columbus, Georgia, who transferred from Mercer University, but is from this area. So there's 4 guys locally from this area on that team. CVCC has a little bit more. It just shows that they're got a lot of talent in this area, man.
We got a few minutes, and I want to circle back to, again, something that's huge, but it was been in silence, and that's the naming of the new athletic director at Columbus State University. Congratulations to the new person that they've named. And however, how long have they been actually looking for, and that search has been going on? And we've had an interim, a female that was an interim.
Yeah, January. So Jay Sparks' last day was back in January. I think it's the first or second week of January that he was done, and they've had an interim since then. So they just hired one. So 4 months they have been looking, and they've had some local names in for an interview. They've had some national names, and they end up going with someone outside of this market. This is my thing, and I would say this to him, and I'd say this to anybody that takes on that job: embrace the community. You got to. If you try to become an outlier and you don't embrace the community, it's hard to get corporate support. It's hard to get fan support. You got to embrace here. You got to get out. You got to shake hands. You got to kiss babies. If you just think that because you're Columbus State, people are going to show up. We're 30 minutes from Auburn. We got Georgia. We got Alabama. There's a lot happening, plus the professional teams in this market right now. You want to compete with all that, ingratiate yourself in the community, and I'm hoping he will do that.
Well, one thing that is for sure, just think about it, the athletic director's position, what he is all expected to do. Yeah, he has a board that he has to adhere to, but, you got a new guy that's coming into the community. Somebody's going to have to be the gatekeeper. Somebody's going to have to know and share where the bodies are buried and also where the money is. Again, because, I can, as an athletic director at Columbus State University, raising money probably is, if that's not the top, top of the line items as far as what your responsibilities are, I don't know what is, because again, it's not like D1 schools where, obviously, you got the president and then you got all the boosters and all the alumni and all the professionals that, contribute funds. You got to shake the bushes at a school like Columbus State.
Yeah, I heartily agree. And the last couple of hires has been more about not who they hired at their previous institution and the winning that's going on there. It's the money that was raised. That was it. Now, previous ones before Jay Sparks had a tough time raising money, DJ. And again, that's why I emphasize, if you want to raise money in this town, our town's a little bit different than other towns, DJ. You got to ingrace yourself in there. You want that corporate support, that community support. You got to be inside the community and make people feel like they're wanted, their voice is being heard, and hopefully this guy will understand that when trying to raise money for CSU.
That statement you made was powerful. However, I don't agree. I think that any athletic director, but you have to, in any community, as you said, this is different. Yeah, it's different in ways, but for the most part, people are not going to just run and throw money at you because you are the new athletic director of that university, of that town. I mean, you got to work. You got to ingratiate yourself. As you said, you got to be able to network. You got to be able to be connected. Of course, you have to count on your alumni board to bring you into these small circles in a town like Columbus, Georgia. And I'm sure that, they know all of that. And the bottom line is, we just wish that and hope that they can have some success, because again, it is a fine institution with some wonderful facilities and some great people on staff.
I agree. And I would think ultimately, maybe an end goal could be moving up. Like we've seen our counterpart, West Georgia, out of Carrollton, which, that's where I went to school, DJ, and went to play ball at.
You went to Carrollton?
Not Carrollton, and West Georgia Tech in Carrollton, but I was at West Georgia. Like, that school is very eerily similar. The campus and this community life. Honestly, Columbus is even bigger than Carrollton is, man. And yet West Georgia has gone from D2 to now they're a Division I sports program. That's a big deal, man.
Yep.
Columbus State can't be that. I find that harder to believe.
Yeah.
So maybe the end goal is doing that. But how do you do that? Well, obviously, one of the biggest things is having a football program. And I think that was a game changer for West Georgia. Is this something I would like to maybe ask him? I don't know if I want to put him on the spot, but maybe an end goal. Would bringing football at Columbus State ever be an end goal for them, and what it brings as an economic value to the school?
I'm glad you said that because, again, I've been preaching that.
You have been for years.
But, again, I'm just a guy that I'm just a sports guy over here, just kind of wanting to make the community better. And, again, when you ask me my opinion, I'm going to give it to you. And football has and it's not that, you're hoping for some pie in the sky, a gimmick or scheme. We've seen a multitude of institutions, Richard, around the state, from Kennesaw to Georgia State to West Georgia. We've seen even in Statesboro, Georgia Southern.
Yep.
I mean, I've been around long enough to see how those programs started and where they are now.
And they all started D2, but what do they all have in common? A football program.
Yes.
That really is a game changer. And I'm telling you, if West Georgia can sell out, why can't Columbus State? I find that hard to believe. So we'll see. Again, you're buying the 8 ball. It'd been nice if you started this 20 years ago, because now you could be talking about making it to D1. You're probably going to be D3 football program or D2, but we'll see. But I'm hoping that maybe that's something that the AD is going to try to do.
And, when you would think with so many smart people on the board and affiliated with Columbus State University, there's a reason why, again. And the only thing that I know is, and I'm not in the circle. I'm not in their inner circle. But I know that the answers when I, years ago when I was asking about, what's the possibilities or what do you think about starting? And I'm talking to, some board members or some alumni, some boosters about this. And it was like, well, it's going to cost too much money to do this. And I said, but how about if this person donates and is responsible for doing this and this and that you got to put it out there. And then after the fact, here we are, like you said, 20 years later, we're still at ground zero, still struggling to maintain the athletic leadership, to maintain the athletic direction. And, we're no better off now. And I say we because, I'm a part of this community, but, Columbus State is no better off now than they were 20 years ago. So why not even try? Give it a try. They didn't even embrace club football. I mean, the powers that be, from my understanding, and everybody that was involved in the club football program, then, they didn't have the support. And they had a pretty damn good team. I don't even know if it's still there, but they were playing junior varsity teams of Division I schools, and they were holding their own. And it was they had a following. They didn't have a home. They didn't have a football site. But again, why? You haven't tried out all the things that we are talking about. And again, I'm sure that all the research that they can do and that they probably have done says that it will be positive. It will be doable. But why won't somebody pull the trigger?
That's what I'm wondering too, DJ. And I'm with you. I was there in school and went to many club football games. I remember the Doughboy Classic. They would take on the team from Fort Benning.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be a huge ordeal. And it showed because people would come out and support for them. And that was a club football team. Think about if you became regulated and it became an actual thing that you can go out and recruit. And this is another selling point for bringing kids to the school. Enrollment has been down.
Yeah.
This is why they got a new president, why they got a new AD, because they felt like enrollment was down. The money was not being raised enough in athletics, and they wanted to make a change. Well, they've been making changes. I've been there since I've been there. They've had 3 or 4 different presidents. They've had multiple ADs, and yet they're still in the same position. So somebody's got to come in and try to do something against the grain, and I'm with you. I just feel like having a football program, LaGrange has got it. Look at LaGrange on a Saturday. They got people showing up and showing out there.
Stadium's packed.
Stadium's packed. And that's D3. If it's working in LaGrange, Why won't it work here? It worked in Carrollton. Why won't it work here? I'm not hearing any more excuses at this point. Albany State has got a great football program. We're seeing all towns that are smaller than ours having schools that are in that town benefit from having a football program. You're telling me in a hotbed like here in Columbus, on the Tri-City area, that you don't even have to go out of the area to get top-notch talent to stay here, and you don't want to have one? I'm hoping that's going to have a different mindset.
But if I can remember the conversations that Mike V and I used to have years and years and years ago on the radio and talking about this. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you got a school president, you got an athletic director, you got a board chair. I mean, out of those three, who are the, I mean, and I don't mean to call them out, but, you know, these are some smart people, I presume, because, again, you know, everybody wants what's best for Columbus State. Everybody wants what's best for Columbus, Georgia, this community. And, you know, if that, I don't see, you know, with all the great part, I mean, and again, I know this is different, but look at what happened with Synovus Park in a short period of time, bringing in the minor league team, the Clingstones. Now, I'm not saying that it would be on that level, but if it was anything close to that, if it was just a 25% of that, that would be enough to get it going. And I know damn well the way the people love football around here. And don't tell me that going up against Georgia and Auburn, who's right up there. No, I mean, listen, you don't have to even play on the same days. You don't even have to play on Saturday. You don't have to go head to head with. It's not even that serious.
No.
And of course, even Friday night football. Well, you don't want. Well, guess what? You can create your day.
Yeah.
You know, you can. What's wrong with playing on Thursday?
What's wrong with that? Sunbelt. Look what when Troy and them play. They play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Why do they do that? They want to get people in the stadium, man. I'm with you, DJ, and I'm sick of that mindset. And I think, and I don't know, I wasn't there. For one, I would have listened to DJ Jones about bringing something like this there, but that's neither here nor there. Think about where you would have been if you would have started this back 25 years ago. But in my mind, it's like that tough stuff when you got to get it started. You know, you're gonna spend more money than you make money. You're gonna suck in the beginning. But if you have already done that by now, think about where you're gonna be. You got to start that eventually. So if you think you're just going to start and be successful right off the bat, it doesn't work like that. It's going to take a couple of years to get your feet underneath you. If that's the reason why you haven't started, shame on you, because who knows where you could be right now.
If that's not the reason, go ahead, Richard.
Plus, I don't know if this is a factor, but the fact is that Columbus State is in the Peach Belt Conference, and none of the teams in the Peach Belt have football teams. But that's okay. You could change conferences and maybe go into the same conference with Valdosta State, Albany State's D2.
That's what I'm saying. They got other conferences in D2, Georgia.
We could end up having a rivalry with Albany State. I know they got the Fountain City Classic, but Albany State's right there. They're D2. Valdosta State's D2.
Good point.
I mean, we could really build this up. It'd be something special.
Guys, we stirred up something here, and I can see it brewing, man. Let's go ahead and take a break. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sports Visions 92.1 FM. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
My life will never be the same. Girl, you came and changed the way I walk, the way I talk. I cannot explain the things I feel for you. But girl, you know it's true. Stay with me, I feel my dreams.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is Sports Visions 92.1.
Aflac, helping people for more than 6 decades focus on recovery and not financial stress. Check out their policies at aflac.com. Knowledge, wisdom, excellence, service are the core values of Morehouse School of Medicine. To learn more, go to msm.edu.
At Cartoons Car Stereo in Columbus, buy it today, get it installed today. That's right, same-day installation. Cartoons, Rockford Fosgate products, stereo head units, amps, speakers, speaker boxes, alarms, remote starts, navigation units, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and so much more. Get same-day installation today. Call or stop by today for details. Cartoons on Veterans Parkway in Columbus.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander should hire trial attorneys. Paid active dramatization. Past results and not guaranteed future results in each case.
Why that guy driving so stupid? We on the expressway, it's raining. He gonna get into an accident. Oh, look, it just happened. He just hit that car. Pull over. We gotta help him. This is bad. This is real bad. What's that? Look, what's that running? It's a dog. It's running. It's on the expressway. It's running. Think he's gonna bite somebody? You see him? That's Top Dog. He just bit him. Bit that insurance company. Bit him bad. That was real bad. Nah, crazy that look. Dog on the expressway. That was looking real crazy. Dog was on the expressway. I know who I'm calling. If I ever get in one, if it ever happened to me, I'm calling the dog. Top Dog Law.
Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Denver Broncos 1987 AFC champion DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. And I tell you what, Bruno Mars says, leave the door open, Columbus State.
Yeah.
Leave it open
Don't
for the
close
possibility of
Look
a
at
football
D.
team. It's that's a correct, nice. Look, that's what super producers do. You play to the theme of the message.
And listen, hey, I didn't even plan that either, DJ. That's how you know me and you're on the same
Exactly.
page. I got to give a shout out Ricky Rogers, our big Rick, the voice of Northside High School. He says, many years ago, the CSU bookstore sold a T-shirt that said, CSU football, still undefeated.
Wow.
And they still haven't lost a game either, man.
Goodness gracious, man. That's hitting below the belt. Richie, I appreciate it. No, that's not below the belt. That's the truth. I mean, they are undefeated and they have not given it a shot. But, hopefully, somebody will hear our cry. And I know we're not the only ones talking like that.
We're not.
We got young people that attend Columbus State. We got parents. We got boosters and supporters. They love football. And again, I'm sure that they could share their allegiances that they have for their alma maters and for their hometown team. You know what? I grew up and my parents raised me to love everybody in your town, in your state. Again, I grew up cheering for the Braves, the Hawks, the Falcons, of course, Georgia Tech, Columbus State, Columbus Tech, whatever. I mean, it's a great. Hey, by the way, Columbus Tech. Do they have room for a basketball team while we're on this bandwagon?
I'm glad you brought that up, DJ, because I honestly think that would take Columbus Tech to the next level. I'm making DJ the sports ambassador, because here's the problem that I see is that a lot of these schools have the people that are in charge may not be the biggest sports fans. Luckily for Muskogee County, someone like Dr. David Lewis, huge sports fan. He knows the value of sports in this community, what it means to the schools. And you see, they with the resources they do, they try to have, they do the best they can.
Right.
Columbus Tech and Columbus State, it's like, don't fight against it, man. Columbus Tech specifically, you're bringing a whole nother demographic of students in enrollment. You're raising more money now. I'm telling you, Columbus Tech would be in that same boat. And there are so many fields, so many basketball gymnasiums. You don't have to have that right off the bat. They think, I need to have a gymnasium. I got to have a campus full of a basketball court. I got to have a football field. I got to have a baseball field. No, you don't have to have that. There are ones here you can utilize just to get the programs up and running. So I'm with you on Columbus Tech as well.
Teamwork makes the dream work, and you got to know that obviously the city of Columbus would open arms with regards to providing or making sure that facilities would be the last thing that these two institutions would need as far as a gymnasium or a game and practice facility. I'm not speaking on behalf of the city. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just throwing it out here on this platform because I know that there's a lot of people that listen to this and that can do something about it if, in fact, they were approached and would love to help. It's amazing. And again, here's the deal. Research, everybody says, hey, you got to do your research and you got to do the numbers. But you know what? Everywhere else, and the schools that I mentioned too, they started football programs. I mean, obviously, it's going to take some work but it has to start at home. It has to be something that's wanted. And, to my understanding, Columbus State has never been interested in fielding a football team. And Columbus Tech, for that matter, has never been interested in fielding a basketball team. But again, when you talk about increase, when you talk about, going to the next level, realistically, it's not a whole lot of things. It's not a whole lot of people going to be blessing you with millions and billions of dollars. So if they at least see you trying to get better, seeing you trying to go to the next level, maybe these millionaires and billionaires and corporate companies, they might buy in as well. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. And I listen, in a town like this, a lot of those corporate guys, they're big time sports fans.
Absolutely.
DJ. You know this,
Absolutely.
man. Huge time sports.
They're in Athens. I see them in Athens. I see them over in Auburn. I know you do. I see in Tuscaloosa.
Come on
and
now.
everywhere else around the Southeast that these guys are that have gone and of course furthered their education. They love football. It's a camaraderie. It's a fellowship. It's a brotherhood. It's a lot of things, man. And it's stuff that it brings the alumni. There's nothing more than seeing. And again, the University of Georgia is on a plane of its own. But you know what? It doesn't have to be on that level. It could be a fraction of that in this town and still be successful.
Exactly right. And I really hope that they understand that mindset. And another thing too, a lot of these guys, they want to feel important. They like to be a booster. They like to be someone like Auburn has and the Georgia has, but they don't have the ability to because they're in Columbus. You give them that avenue. Think about what they could do here, raising that money. And I want to say this too. I was there 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. Sometimes my times get mixed up. But Columbus Tech got a mascot. And it was a road runner. And in my opinion, if you're finally going to get a mascot, it makes you think that maybe you're going to get a sports team, because otherwise, why do you have a mascot? What are you competing against? Who cares what your mascot name is? Because I thought that was really for sports. So when I saw that, it made me think maybe they're on the trajectory, and now 3 years and still nothing. So hopefully something like that comes around, DJ, and maybe Columbus Tech could get themselves just something. Does it have to be a football program? Be football and baseball, basketball, softball, archery, cross country, track and field, something. Just get it going.
Hey, get mad if you will.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
they got a big enough campus. I mean, if they want to have they could start out with playing at somebody else's gymnasium, but I mean, they could build eventually when they get the funding that they got to get the team first, that they could build a gymnasium because their campus, they got plenty of space on that campus.
I tell you, you know what, guys, we're stirring up something here, and we've done it before. And again, you know what? Somebody has always come and put the thumb on it and put it out. And, again, but it has to be from within. It has to be. And again,
it's got to start there.
It has to start within. And over the years, and you mentioned the names and the likes of Jimbo. And of course, you talk about, all the people that have been affiliated and associated with Columbus State, all the folks that live here in town that love Columbus State and Columbus Tech for that matter. And again, you know what? We might as well continue now. That Columbus Tech deal just came to me out of the blue. Just
again,
because again, you think about sports, and you know how sports galvanizes communities and galvanizes, schools and alumni and fans. Why not? I mean, they don't have it now. And again, just, and no, we're not talking about, 80, 90, 100,000 people on a Saturday afternoon. Hey,
right.
If we get 2,000, 2,500, 5,000, that's a start.
Yeah. And that's 2,500 more people that usually come to all the other games. So that would be, I honestly think they would get more at a football game than they would all the other ones combined right now. And maybe it would put more recognition on the other sports that are going on as well. Bring football to Columbus State. We're starting the campaign right now. Bring football to Columbus State.
And
DJ.
people are, I tell you what, people are cussing us out under their breath. I know they are.
Rolling their eyes.
Absolutely. All right, it's time to take a break. You are watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
There's something about you.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sports Visions 92.1.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services, Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
Finish your high school diploma for you and your family. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
Hi friends, this is Keith Hernandez. Ever notice that when your shop needs a part, Napa is there? It's no accident. Napa spent 100 years building nationwide networks of parts and know-how for one reason, to keep businesses moving. Whether you've got a fleet of 500 trucks or a single bay garage, they've got you covered with the parts and expert service you need when and where you need it. Because at Napa, they are the pros that know how to keep you running at full speed. Find the parts you're looking for at napaonline.com.
Knowledge, wisdom, excellence, service are the core values of Morehouse School of Medicine. To learn more, go to msm.edu.
Buying a new car might make you say things like,
I can't believe it.
Seriously, it's ours?
Is this real life? Yeah, it's real life, all right.
but what you really need to say is something that can protect your new ride.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Yep, we're here to help you choose the coverage you need. So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
At Cartoons Car Stereo in Columbus, buy it today, get it installed today. That's right, same-day installation. Cartoons, Rockford Fosgate products, stereo head units, amps, speakers, speaker boxes, alarms, remote starts, navigation units, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and so much more. Get same-day installation today. Call or stop by today for details. Cartoons on Veterans Parkway in Columbus.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. The Herd with Colin Cowherd. 12 to 3 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Carver Tigers legend DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Richard Holdridge.
That's him.
He's off to do daddy duties, takes his girls to school. I mean, I love it, man. He has two beautiful daughters, and he of course, leaves what he loves to go do what he loves even more, and that's looking after those beautiful little girls.
Yeah, he is. Listen, the girls run his household between his wife and his two little girls.
Yeah.
And I'm in the same boat, man. Yeah. I tell FJ all the time, and DJ, you know this. Happy wife, happy life. And listen, right. when they're on one, I tell FJ, like, especially when the girls are all yelling at each other, me and FJ say, hey, let's go throw the ball outside. Let's get out of that way, because, you know, that venom, it can start making its way towards you, DJ.
Absolutely. Hey, we're having fun. Good Tuesday morning, everybody out there. We're glad that you're joining us. And hey, man, listen, this conversation that we're having is not just exclusively to Thrift and I.
Come on.
You know, we would love for you to engage. If you got some ideas, if you know, whether you're for it or not, I mean, yeah, throw it out there. Throw your hat in the ring, man, because this is another one of those community builders, in my estimation. Sports galvanizes the communities. And as I say all the time, you know, this platform, this show, this sports show in particular, is one to make us better. You know, we're not here to criticize anybody intentionally. We want to make this community better. And again, having a football team, or at least giving it, you know, at least an opportunity, or a basketball team at Columbus State, you know, that's just something I woke up with in my spirit, and it just organically rolled into the show. It's not anything that I have been planning through to talk about, but this is something that has been on my mind for many, many years here in this Columbus vicinity or community, Columbus, Phoenix City, Fort Benning area, and again, and it's come back up, and it's always going to be interesting because of so much love for football that, you know, our major institutions, our college, Columbus State University and Columbus Technical College, athletics, I think, will be the opportunity, that will be the vehicle to take them to the next level.
I agree with that. And it's in high school, it's in middle school, it's definitely in college. What it brings, economic value, it brings the notoriety, it brings, and this is a big thing too, DJ. Even kids that are not going to school for a sport will pick a school because of their sports, because it's something they can do on campus.
Yes.
I'm going to emphasize that one more time. Kids that are not even looking for a scholarship to play a sport will go to a school because of how good their sports programs are. I hear it all the time. I want to go to Auburn. I want to go to Alabama. I want to go to Georgia. I want to go to a football game. If Columbus State could add football, that's something, another recruiting point that you're selling to not just athletes, but potential people that want to just come to the school to go to the school.
Absolutely. And again, when you get into discussions like this, you know, we can talk to we're blue in the face, but, you know, the leaders of those schools, the leaders of those institutions, you know, this is a discussion that, you know, and some questions that maybe the community could command from them or demand from them with regards to why not? I mean, you know, we've gone up to this point. It's not that you've tried and failed. It's not, you know, it's not that, you know, somebody has done something and it didn't work out. It hasn't even been tried. You haven't even taken the first step with regarding, you know, putting something like that together. Now, again, I'm talking, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not on the board. I'm not in the in crowd with CSU or Columbus State. I'm just a sports guy, and I'm just a guy that I know what the impact that these sports teams, I know what sports and athletics can do. I know what football, more importantly, can do to galvanize a community, to galvanize, you know, an institution with regards to, you know, my coach, Coach Vince Dewey. He was a consultant. When Kennesaw State decided, however many years ago it was, to start their football program, they brought in a Vince Dewey. And Coach Dewey was pretty much the ambassador for the football program. A lot of people might have forgotten. A lot of people might not even remember. Or they might not even known that, you know, you don't just know, because you don't know anything about Columbus State, you know. Yeah, but guess what? When you start bringing franchises and industries to a city, you know, look at all you spend time with the chamber, you spend time with the city leaders. I mean, it's the same thing with football. Obviously, it's just a different, you know, same thing with a football program. You know, it's just, I mean, golly, man, it's not rocket science.
No.
I am not the one who knows all things in the universe, but there's certainly a lot more people out there that are smarter than me that can piggyback, work out the details, do the research, raise the money, recruit the kids. I mean, again, it works like that. You don't just wake up in the morning and just say all of a sudden, hey, no. If it makes sense, and again, the economic impact. Just say that we do start a program, or say let's just say that Columbus State does or is interested in starting a program, and the momentum gets to building. I mean, I beg to, if somebody calls in and says, hey, DJ, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, we've tried this in 20, whatever, blah, 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 and it didn't work out, and we raised this amount of money and we lost that. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen, because I don't think it's ever been done.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, DJ, and that's why I'm trying to think of. You just made mention of Kennesaw State. We talked about West Georgia. I'm not saying they're not out there. That's why I want people to comment.
Georgia Southern.
Name me a college that started a football program and it didn't work out and help them benefit economically, because we're naming all the schools that did. So name me the one. Now, I'm not saying it's not out there. I don't proclaim to know all things, but there are a lot more successful situations when they bring it in than there are not.
Absolutely.
So I want to hear. So please comment, call in. Otherwise, I just don't understand what the fight is at this point, because there are only positive ramifications when starting the program, DJ.
Absolutely. But we're going to talk about this, and that's what sports talk show platforms is all about. You know, again, that's why I love it. Because again, I could get a phone call, or I could get get invited to a meeting, and they say, look, this is the deal. You know, we cannot do this because it doesn't make sense to do that because of whatever reason. And you know what? I can walk away and say, you know what? You tried.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, you never tried.
Never happened. Never got off the ground.
And it is so much more value to trying and developing this as it is not to have done it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, again, Columbus State, Columbus Tech, we're putting it out there.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to embarrass anybody.
That's what I'm saying. We try to help out.
We want to help. We want to help, and just putting the atmosphere, putting the idea or the thought back out there in the atmosphere, because it's been around. I mean, as long as I've been back in this town since 1997, and ever since I've been on the radio, sports talk radio. I started sports talk radio back in 97. So it's been put out there, and again, here we are, and nothing. How many years ago is that?
That's almost 30 years ago. 28.
So
28 years.
My challenge is for those who have been affiliated and associated with Columbus State and the growth and the betterment of that university, that institution, give me a call. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about what ifs. Let's talk about why nots.
Yeah.
Got it?
Let's have a good conversation.
Let's move on. Hey, look, without further ado, I tell you what, I have a young lady who accepted an award on behalf of her cheer team, again, on April the 17th down at St. Luke Ministry Center. And again, I'm excited that we are honoring cheerleaders. And of course, I'm happy to have with the Haley Hardage. Welcome to the Sports Visions Morning Show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
I like that setup. You do TV? I mean, you do this all the time because you just got everything so with the backdrop. I mean, the background there. And
yeah,
in the background.
Classroom.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Thank you for joining us on the morning show. I know that it's been a work in progress trying to get you lined up. You're so popular. And by the way, condolences for your losses.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I understand. But glad to have you here, and wanted to have you here because there's a few things that I wanted you to help me help everybody else understand. Is that cheerleading is a great thing. You're a cheer coach. You recently won a state championship. You were recently awarded a nice award by the Morehouse School of Medicine. Ms. Chandra Edwards sponsored an award through Sports Visions, and you were there sitting amongst all of your peers. And again, you see all these other traditional sports, but you were the first and only cheerleading organization that received an award, and I want to congratulate you on making history.
Well, thank you. That's a big honor. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But Haley, let's spend a little minute. Let's spend it. First of all, we're going to talk a little bit about the cheerleaders, but I want to talk about you because it takes a very, very interesting person, a very, very loyal person to take on these responsibilities with these young ladies. And again, I think you guys are, often on the back burner with regard, as important as you are and as much of a game day experience as you are to the kids, the crowd, the fans, the alumni, and the players, and coaches. You know what? We just need to have a talk. And I want you to talk about how hard these young ladies work, how loyal they are, how dedicated they are. And but before we do that, why don't we start with you and talking about how you got involved in being a cheer coach, as well as where you went to school and some of the things you might have done to put you in this position.
Yeah. So I actually went to Columbus High myself, and I was cheer captain when I was in high school. And cheer's always been like a really big part of my life. I've been cheering since I was like, second grade. Yeah, so it's been like really engraved in my life. And when I went to college, I chose not to cheer. I kind of took a little break for 4 years. And then when I moved back, I started teaching. I started coaching. This is my 4th year. So kind of had a year or two to kind of get accustomed to being back in like the real world, and just wanted to kind of give back to the sport that, has been in my heart for so long. So, got involved, and I've been the assistant coach for the past 3 years. So this is my first year as like head coach. So it was kind of a big responsibility, but our old head coach was awesome. Jana Elder, I don't know if you've ever heard of her before, but she's amazing. So I kind of got some good experience from the best. But yeah, it's kind of my background and coaching career.
You're good. Very good. And again, what's the criteria that you, for your team? What do the young ladies have to do other than perform and cheer and do stunts or whatever? What's required of a cheerleader to be a part of the Columbus High School Blue Devils cheerleading squad?
So what I always tell the girls is like, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for potential. So, I mean, we may take someone who, and we've taken girls before who there's been girls that have tried out that have had all the talent. But if we see someone who has more of a heart and, I don't know, has more like crowd leading abilities, and maybe someone else is sharper, but they're not really like smiling and doesn't really look like they're having fun and engaged. We're going to try to take someone over someone else who's kind of just there to like show off their skills. We want someone who's going to lead the crowd and going to lead our team.
Haley, can you kind of explain to our audience the difference between the different competitions, the game day competition, the other competitions that go on for state? What did y'all compete in state? And like, if the game day competition, is it similar to like getting ready for an actual football game, or is it a little bit different when you're actually doing for competition?
Yeah, so game day is actually like kind of a newer style of cheerleading, and it's been crazy for me to wrap my brain around because when I was in school, I did both sideline and competition cheer.
Okay.
So competition cheer is more of like skills based. So however many standing tucks, however many fulls you have, all these elite stunts, that's what they're looking for traditional comp. But game day is very different, where it focuses on like crowd engagement and like flags and crowd leadership rather than skills. So like you can incorporate stunts and different things to engage the crowd, but you don't necessarily have to have them. What they're looking for is just like crowd engagement, sharpness, synchronization, things like that. It's more of like a practical style of cheerleading.
Gotcha. Haley Hardage is our guest today on the SportsVisions morning show, and it's a privilege to have you on, Haley, because again, you cheerleaders don't have to take a back seat to anybody. We, as a former athlete, I can appreciate the hype and the enthusiasm and that the cheerleaders created, whether it was a pep rally, whether it was following us at a football game or football game or a basketball game. I know the importance. And again, those young ladies, they spend just as much time, they spend just as much effort with regards to training. Their parents are diligent in following them and pursuing them and making sure that they have what they need. And again, I just want to say on behalf of the school, on behalf of the athletes that you cheer for, we appreciate you. We really do. And I'm over the moon with this particular honor because for so many years, it's not been recognized. Cheerleaders have not been recognized in this genre, and they have been just much an integral part of it, because you get there early and you stay late and you practice hard, and the young ladies are beautiful in performance. And of course, like you said, their skill level is amazing. And in the training that goes involved and the commitment, a lot of people just don't know. They just think, oh, okay, that's the football game and the cheerleaders are just supposed to be there. No, these girls. These girls are on a mission. They have a purpose, and with leaders like you, that makes it even better.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it was a hard season. We had a lot of obstacles in our way. We lost our practice space like 3 times, so we're having to kind of like work through those issues. And but I think it really made the girls a lot stronger, and kind of give them that want to show everyone. And also too, with game day being so new, people are like, oh, well, because we competed for the first time 2 years ago, and we did not place very high, because it was our first year. We were still learning a lot. We were learning about game day and what all the requirements were. So we didn't really end where we wanted to. And so these girls really had the drive to come back and show everyone that, we can be good. We do have the dedication to do well. And they really showed it. So.
Haley, can you talk about some of the people that help you, or is this a one lady show? Are you doing this by yourself, or do you have assistant coaches you'd like to shout out to?
I could not do it on my own. One of the coaches, she took maternity leave, so she wasn't there for the full season. But I mentioned Janet Elder. She was the old head coach. And I really couldn't have done this season without her because I've been coaching with her for the past 3 years. We're great friends. And she really helped mentor me a lot in this position. And it was really great having her at the very beginning of the season, just kind of with that transition. And then our other coach, Hannah Kick, or she's now Hannah Thompson. She just got married.
Okay.
But Hannah Thompson, she's been awesome. We work together. She's in the classroom next to me right now. But yeah, she's been great. So I definitely couldn't have done this on my own. They're both awesome.
Haley, the most recent state championship that you won, can you talk about what the girls had to do? And again, how many different performances that they had? Can you kind of paint the picture for the folks that are listening out there and that are watching?
Yeah. So really with game day, they have to learn 2 different routines. There's a prelims routine and then a finals routine. So we're constantly practicing both routines. And so when you go to any competition, you typically perform both routines, but the only routine that matters at the end is going to be your final score. And so for state in particular, everyone performs the prelims routine, and then it's the top. I think for our division, it's different for each division depending on how many teams there are. But for our division, there was the top 6 teams that made it to state. So they pick the top 6 teams, and then from there you perform your finals routine. So that's really your final score. Like your prelims routine, you could have beat out 5 other teams and been on top. But if you go and bomb your finals routine, that prelims routine isn't going to really matter. So it's really, you have to go in and perfect both routines to be able to get to the top.
Who were some of the other schools that we would recognize that you competed against?
In our area, I'm trying to think. I know Carver was there.
And they don't have to be from our area, just the teams that, because again, we talk about a multitude of schools from all over the state, all over the region. And I'm just wondering if there are any associations with the same as the kids play football, baseball, basketball against the same schools.
Sorry, there's some of my kids just started coming down the hallway and they're knocking on the door. Can you repeat that question? I was trying to get this.
I'm going to ask you this question. And I'm going to let you get back to doing what you do best.
Oh, no, you're fine.
But no, I was just saying the schools that you were able to beat or to compete against to win the state championship, who are some of those schools?
I'm trying to think. There's one team. So we've moved divisions twice. So like a lot of the teams start running together. I know Mary Persons was like our biggest competitor last year. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but they're really good. I know they're really good in like all their athletics. But they were in a different division this year. Morgan County, I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yep.
They're
Yes.
our biggest competitor. I think they got 2nd or 3rd. Hart County. There's another team, Sonoraville. So there's some really, really good schools that we were competing against.
Yeah.
So.
My last question to you is that obviously, the training that goes in, because again, you guys, a lot of people don't know what you have to do behind the scenes to get ready for these competitions. So describe the workout, the routine of how cheer practice goes after these kids get finished with school. Do they report to you, and how do you go down to Lake Bottom and run? And or do you go in the weight room? What kind of conditioning program does it take to be a cheerleader?
So typically how our practice would go is we'd start with some type of conditioning. So like running, different things like that. And this year I've gotten really into running myself. So that's something we're going to try to incorporate a little bit more this year. But we'd start out with some type of like conditioning. And then, like I said, you have to perfect both routines. And really at the beginning of the year, we focus more on perfecting the prelims routine because that's what's going to have to get you to finals. So we'd work a lot on the prelims routine. Then slowly throughout the season, as we got closer to state, we would start working on the finals routine a little bit more. And we'd practice the stunts we do in the routine and things like that. So that'd be kind of a layout of our practice.
Well, Haley, before we let you go, we got to talk about some of the girls, the seniors. You don't have to mention every girl that cheerleaded because I would never ask any coach to do that. But there's any one or any seniors that specifically you want to say thank you to for helping making this season so special?
Gosh, I don't even think I could. So we have our two captains were Madison and Jalen, and they were such great leaders this year. But I mean, really all the seniors were awesome in leading our team.
Awesome.
And they have, a lot of them were on that team that first year that we competed where we were kind of building that foundation. So they really had the heart in it. And we just had an amazing group of seniors to lead our year.
Awesome.
Well, Haley, we appreciate you coming on and spending time with the Sports Nation. And again, very informative interview. And again, if you want to go back and see this later, or if you want to share this information with all your parents, all of your cheerleaders, and all of your actually alumni of the school, let them know how they can do that.
Yeah, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. All you got to do is put in Sports Visions Morning Show or Sports Visions Radio on Facebook, and then Apple and Spotify. You like podcasts, put in the Sports Vision Morning Show. You can listen to us commercial free. So a lot of ways you can go back and send this to your friends and family to go and listen to. By the way, I don't know if you know this, Haley, and I just put two and two together. I knew your brother Chase and your mom Vicky grew up with y'all at the church. We went to the same church, and I'm like, Hardage sounds like the same name. Went did some investigating. That's the power of social media. So it's awesome. Tell your mom I said, hey. I
will. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I recognized the last name, and I was wondering if I was trying to put the two and two together too.
Well, Haley, you have a great rest of your morning.
Thank you.
And tell those young ladies, congratulations. We love them.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for having me on.
Yes, ma'am. All right. That's Haley Hardage.
There she is.
I'm telling you, the state championship.
Yep. Congratulations to her and her girls. We're recognizing everyone, anyone and everyone. We're recognizing them here on Sports Vision.
Absolutely. All right. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. You are watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2. Sports Visions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
If you want it, take my wallet. If you want it now, jump in the Cadillac. Girl, let's put some miles on it. Anything you want.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. One person is dead and a suspect is in custody after a stabbing on Williams Road in Columbus. Police say 22-year-old Abigail Cordura was killed around 8 p.m. last night. The Violent Crimes Unit is now investigating this case. Meanwhile, a legal standoff continues at Columbus City Hall, with 6 counselors clashing with city manager Isaiah Hughley over a 2022 pandemic loan to his wife. Both sides now have lawyers, but neither addressed it in last week's meeting. Council meets again this morning at 9 o'clock. Meanwhile, in the Yellowhammer State, the race for Alabama governor in 2026 is taking shape, with Senator Tommy Tuberville and Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth potentially in the mix. Republicans want fresh ideas, while Democrats, including Doug Jones, call for candidates who connect with rural voters. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Tuesday morning. Those temperatures are in the mid to low 60s, and we're under mostly cloudy skies to kick off the day. Mostly cloudy skies give way to partly cloudy skies by midday, with those temperatures near 80 degrees. Those highs later this afternoon and early evening reach the mid to low 80s. And we're going to be tracking just a few stray showers or storms in that forecast. A better chance of rainfall, though, coming Friday by the way of a front as it sweeps through the region.
Time for another name for Nissan. Stephanie Rowell of Smith Station. Again, that name is Stephanie Rowell of Smith Station.
If that's you, text headquarter to 855-706-2946 to be put on the short list for a chance to win a brand new Nissan. From Headquarter Nissan and Sports Visions 92.1.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Then here's a great idea. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Yes, one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program and we'll come and remove your car for free. Fast, free towing, and 24-hour response. You can donate most cars, trucks, or SUVs in most conditions. The proceeds raised goes to help active military, veterans, and their families, and you get a tax deduction. All you need to do is make this free call. Get rid of that old car and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now and book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Donation Program now. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Operators are standing by. Here's the number:
800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. That's 800-890-7021.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services.
Aflac, helping people for more than 6 decades focus on recovery and not financial stress. Check out their policies at aflac.com. Knowledge, wisdom, excellence, service are the core values of Morehouse School of Medicine. To learn more, go to msm.edu.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. VA sends a weekly email to over 13 million veterans that's jam-packed with amazing resources. Subscribe for free at va.gov/vet resources.
Every day, 12 children die from sepsis, more than from cancer. Most people don't know the word sepsis or the symptoms. Protect yourself and your loved ones. To learn more about the symptoms, go to sepsis.org.
You're home for the Dan Patrick Show, 9 to 12 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Haley Hardage. Man, I tell you, it's amazing how small this world is. Thrift. You know, we're talking to Haley about 15, 20 minutes into it. You realize that you know her family.
Yeah, so Chase Hardage was actually my brother's grade. I went over to his house many times and played sports, pick up football. I mean, we had some battles, and this is his younger sister that is now all grown up. She was a little baby head when I was back in high school. So it's funny, full circle, seeing things, man.
You know, as a guy that loves sports, grew up in sports, and played it at every level, I've often was fond of cheerleaders from a standpoint of their dedication. Of showing up and cheering and training, getting ready for the. I mean, you know, games were just as important or relevant to them as it was to the players. And again, I'm so happy that we had an opportunity to show our appreciation as Sports Visions, as as an organization, to award these cheerleaders, and of course Haley being the cheer coach. You know, and we've been working on that for a long time. There's a lot of other things that I love to see done, and I'm still working towards. Because, again, you know, it's more to sports and athletics than football, baseball, basketball. And I know that those are the ones, the traditional sports that, you know, the American sports that everybody loves. And that's what we grew up playing. But there's a lot of other things, you know, cheer, dance, gymnastics. You know, it's a whole lot of other people that are, you know, very important and that are athletic that should be a part of the celebration. A lot of other sports, you know, and you know, we talk about it all the time. It takes coal to run a train. It takes gold to run a campaign. And when you see these awards programs, they're being sponsored by, we have community partners that help us do this. And you know what? We need even more to do in honor the other sports. I mean, you think about golf, tennis, baseball. You think about, you know, all of this, you know, the cheerleading, dance, marching band. Those are the things that are on my mind. When you say, what does Sports Vision wants to do next? Yeah. Those are the things I want to be able to honor and have a ceremony very similar to what we do on the football side in December, what we do with the female athletes in April. And of course, we most recently started back doing basketball in March. But again, there's a plethora of organizations or a plethora of sports that need to be recognized, they should be recognized. And I'm just, you know, crying out to the community that by all means, I can't do it by myself. Yeah, I can put it together, but I need the resources. I mean, because it's a lot of moving parts to doing these awards luncheons. And, you know, we make it look easy. I know through if we make it look easy. And again, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful presentation on social media. It's a beautiful presentation when we post. There's literally hundreds of people in the room. There's a lot of trophies and awards given. The food is good. The music is good. We have a great production, both video and audio. But it takes resources. It takes money to do this. And that's my cry. I just wanted to make sure that, for you folks out there, and again, if you're in a position where you can do something about it, now you know exactly why we don't do, or why we haven't done that, because again, it takes more money and more revenue and more resources to put stuff together like this, because again, but people are not going to just give me a venue for free. They're not going to allow me to feed, 300, 400, 500, 600 people. It just doesn't work like that, Thrift.
No, 100%. And again, it takes resources, and you're donating to helping out, give exposure to these phenomenal athletes that had incredible seasons, man. So I'm with you, dude. I really hope that more and more people want to come out and support, because we get questions all the time. Why is there not a baseball luncheon? Why is there not a this luncheon? It takes time, effort to utilize this stuff. DJ's one man. He can't do everything all the time. And that's where community support that's out there. We'll make it happen. He'll organize it. Just need some help being able to do it. And if you want something like this to happen, why don't you help put your name on it too? And that'll be awesome, man.
Absolutely. Hey, let's circle back to a topic that was really, really hot and heavy when we were talking maybe about 30, 45 minutes ago. And that's, of course, the Columbus State University as well as Columbus Tech going in. Do they have a mascot? Do we know of Columbus Tech having a mascot?
They are the Roadrunners.
The Roadrunners. Man, I tell you, we're actually, sending out there in the atmosphere. We're asking for some information on what it's going to take for us to get a committee up and running to bring a football team to Columbus State as well as a basketball team to Columbus Tech. And I tell you what, Thrift, that could have some legs.
And I said, it looks like a Roadrunner. It's a Thrasher, the Columbus State Thrashers. I don't know where I got Roadrunners, but DJ, look at this. Tell me that doesn't look like a little bit of the Roadrunner right there in that picture.
I tell you what, it looks like a lot of different things. And
so they are the Thrashers right now.
Okay.
That is what Columbus Tech is. So if you go look, I'll even hold it up for those that are watching on Facebook. That is their mascot. So we got a Thrasher in the building. But you're right, DJ. We keep talking about the value of football, what it would do to Columbus State, as we've seen. Richard brought up the point. People maybe say, well, they're in the Peach Belt Conference. Those schools don't have football programs. Leave that conference and go join what West Georgia was in, what Valdosta State's in, what Albany State's in. I'm not hearing it anymore, DJ. There's an opportunity. And look at Valdosta State. Look at their enrollment. They're not having issues because football has helped grow. And Valdosta, known for their high school, they was no way in their right mind. They were not going to have a college in Titletown, Valdosta High School, where Valdosta High School's at, and not have a college that has a football team. Columbus is on that same trajectory right here on the border where Central's at, Harris County, all the Muskogee County schools in Carver. Why wouldn't they? This is a football hotbed. Yeah. We just had a first-round draft pick and go number 11. Why would you not have a football program? And for Columbus Tech, start a basketball, start a baseball. Those are a little bit easier because we got a lot of baseball fields that aren't used, DJ. We got a lot of gymnasiums that they can have as a home gymnasium. No excuse why not to have sports and the value it brings to your school.
Wow. I tell you, man, you know what? You might not think it's important, but at the same time, when you really think about why these programs come up in a birth on some campuses that never had football or basketball before, and all of a sudden now, 10, 15, 20 years later, they're prospering. They are major contributors to the bottom line with regards to the institution and the economic impact that has been able to grow in these communities. It's too many positives, and I just haven't heard enough negatives. And I'd be happy to have you on if you wanted to speak out against it or with
Please.
or for it. I say this until I'm blue in the face. Is that 706-324-1420. That's the microphone. That's an opportunity for you to come on and express your opinions if in fact you think it will work, or if in fact you think it won't work. But the bottom line is, if you never tried, how can you even know? You haven't taken a step in that direction. And again, unless somebody knows something that I don't know, I don't think that has happened in this community regarding Columbus State and Columbus Tech.
Yeah, I don't think it has either, man. And so please call in. This is about having a conversation. That's all we want to have. Have a conversation with us. If you disagree, come and disagree. We're not going to yell at you. We're not going to call you names. I mean, we're not one of those hot takes, spewing out vile. We can disagree. We can agree to disagree, but we want to have a conversation. I don't know if there are many people out there, though, DJ, that would disagree with this. And if there is, I want to hear your point. I like to know, because right now I'm drawing a blank on why you wouldn't want to do something like this, DJ.
Absolutely. Thrift, on a lighter note, we're going to give away a pair of Columbus Clingstone tickets. And
yes,
again, I want to be able to do so. And again, if we had the personnel, I would love to say I'd take the whatever number caller, but we can't do that. But what we can do, we can drive you to our Facebook page and have you respond. And we will give these tickets away tomorrow if, in fact, we see that there has been, again, a need. I know a lot of people have been saying they wanted to go to the Clingstones game, but Thrift, just think about this over the next few minutes or so.
Yeah.
What can we acknowledge to the fact of saying go to and log in on our SportsVisions Facebook page and tell us something? Or just say you're checking in. I'm so-and-so and so. And then if we get 10, if we get 15, if we get 50 people, we'll just have a drawing, or we'll make a selection ourselves.
Yeah, and that's exactly what.
Tell us why you want these tickets.
Exactly. Tell us why you want these tickets, and maybe even have a question of the day. We're going to have something for you to come in. That'll be really good. But I like the thought of just commenting, saying you love SportsVisions, and say you tune in every day. If you want to do that, share the video,
whatever you have to say.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, I
Just
even like the thought checking in, letting us know that you're there, and then you'll be part of the random selection.
Absolutely, you'll be. That's it right there. You just check into our Facebook page.
Say you're here.
Say you're here. Check it in. You like it. You enjoy it. You want these tickets. Whatever. Just respond so that we can have a way of getting back to you, because we can't give you these tickets in your hands. We're going to electrically transfer these tickets to you. And again, that will be. They start tonight. So of course we wouldn't be able to do it tonight, but we want to give the benefit of coming back tomorrow after the fact to see again what kind of activity, what kind of engagement that we've had, because I know it's a lot of people out there been asking me for Stones tickets. This is an opportunity to get free tickets, and this is all we have to do is get a little participation, a little engagement.
Yeah, exactly. So comment right now. All we need to know is that you're watching and you love SportsVisions. Just let us know you're here. Leave us a comment, and we'll make sure to see if you're one of those lucky winners.
And we of course go up until tomorrow when we go on the air. So you'll have the benefit of the today all day long. And then tomorrow morning, we'll go and check and see if you responded. If you haven't responded, that means that you didn't want to go. But
yeah, and I would say respond right here on this video and respond on tomorrow's video as well. So if you're listening on the radio, go to our Facebook page. We're live right now. You'll see the live video. Click on that. Even if we're not, once we get off the air at 9 o'clock, the video stays. So you go and comment, and then today and then tomorrow when we go live, you'll be part of the people that have commented that we'll give an opportunity. But again, you need to let us know you're here and why you're commenting, saying, hey, so-and-so, I'm Thrift Barringer, love SportsVisions, and would really love to go to the Clingstones game, something like that, so we know you're interested and we can get you one of those tickets, man.
And I think it'll be even more beneficial to not only use right now and for the rest of the day, and even tomorrow. Let's give the tickets away, maybe, because they're going to be here for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So let's get. We want to give them a little bit more momentum. Obviously, we'll have an opportunity to get this message out to everybody. And since we just now deciding that we are going to do that, but you know what, having fun with that, and to know that Jack Johnson will be joining us at 8 o'clock, of course, and in about 20 minutes or so. That's even more fun. The fact of the matter is that we're giving away some tickets for the first time, and we get to see exactly, because again, like I said, you can say out of your mouth whatever you want to say, but when that doesn't mean anything. Your actions, when you get engaged, when you go ahead and make that point of letting us know that you want to go to that Clingstones game at Synovus Park, that's the real deal.
100% on that, DJ. So please make sure you comment and you let us know. By the way, we just had a couple people commenting right now, DJ, before we move on. We got Javar Rakestraw said, have I missed it? But what happened? The football program CSU was starting up about 10, 15 years ago. With that, if you're referring to the club football team, it's still there, but we're talking about being a regulated, sanctioned football program in Division II. The club football team, they play JV teams, they play some junior college teams, they play some other intramural club football teams from other major universities, but we're talking something bigger than that. We're talking about actually becoming a part of an NCAA. That's what we're saying, Javar. Carlton Williams says, Columbus State has had a club football team that plays a Connect, and they're pretty good. Mike Spate is the head coach. Yes, Carlton, we've made mention of that. Coach Spate, Coach Mike's done a great job with that club football team. Again, it's still not the same, guys, and I'm not trying to downplay what is the club football team, but club football is not being Division II and winning a national championship in that regard and being part of the NCAA and being able to maybe even move up to a D1 level. You can't do that with club football. Sandra Vett Shelton says, good morning. I love Sports Visions. Sandra.
And we love you too.
There you go. And she says, I already have my Clingstone shirt. I'll be remembering that, Sandra. So you'll be on putting that memory bank for those who are commenting and trying to win those Clingstone tickets.
She is officially registered and
she's already on.
That's right. She started it off. So
there we go.
That's where. So for the next day or so, we're going to find out because again, and just remember for the next 12 games, 12 days, actually not in a row, but 12 games. The Clingstones will be at home. So you got some time, and we are going to make sure that you are able to get there. All you have to do is engage, go to our Facebook page and write into the chat why you want these tickets. All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and go over to the east side where WRBL Sports Director Jack Patterson is standing by. Jack, what's going on, my friend?
JP.
Hey, what's up and what's good, fellas?
It's all good, man. We got it on hot and smoking today, man. We've said we put it out there in the atmosphere that Columbus State University needs a football team and Columbus Tech needs a basketball team. What do you think?
Hey, man, the atmosphere is there for it, okay? It's been talked about for years that, CSU needed a football team. I remember the wild rumor that went around at one time that they were going to buy Peachtree Mall and turn it into a football stadium.
That part.
So, but at the same time, the atmosphere is most definitely there for it. In Division II, where they already are, would be a great place for a football team. And I never really had thought about Columbus Tech having a basketball team, but honestly, I think it could fit in the same reign as CVCC having their basketball program. So honestly, it's not that far fetched either.
You think about the rivalry with Columbus State and Columbus Tech. No, it's not Columbus. In Columbus, CVCC and Columbus Tech in basketball.
And I will love it. And that's what me and DJ were talking about, Jack. Bring in a basketball program, a baseball program. That's going to bring more people to the school for JUCO. And then for football, for Columbus State, you're not only going to bring guys and athletes that want to play there, you're also bringing students. You're giving them something to do to watch a football team. And I think that's another selling point for just regular students that want to go to school there.
Absolutely. And, you see, where it can take you. I think the best example you have of a Division II program in our area that has a football program is LaGrange College. They play at Callaway Stadium, and, the football team has really been good, especially the last couple of years as well. So I think, like I said, I heard the tail end of your conversation about the club football team right before I came on. And, the club football team has had its successes and everything, but especially with the wealth of talent that this area provides, that, an actual football team at Columbus State would actually, in my opinion, I think it could be really successful.
You're right, Jack. You're right. But I'm not going to take up all your time basically talking about something, a hypothetical that we've thrown out there in the atmosphere. I want to talk about what's real and what you got boots on the ground coverage-wise coming up here in the next few days.
Well, you already know what the deal is. The next few days is high school baseball playoffs. We still have a lot of teams left standing, and that's what today is going to be all about, is putting together our game plan for what's going to be a busy, busy week of high school baseball action. And we can't forget we still have our softball teams as well playing over in Alabama. The Central Lady Red Devils still have opportunity to make their way to Oxford. That road starts this week in their area tournament, which they'll host. So that's something we're going to have our eye on as well. And then, of course, the Clingstones, as you just mentioned, they're back home today. Starts 12 games in 13 days for the Clingstones. So that's definitely going to be on our radar as well.
Jack, you got to talk about, though, a couple things, and I talked about it last night. It's a tough week for professional sports in this area. The Clingstones on a 4-game losing streak. I'm glad they're back at home this week. The Lions are on a 3-game losing streak. They lost down the wire on the road at Colorado on Saturday. And unfortunately, those River Dragons lost to the hated, I can't stand them, I don't even want to say their name, team that we've lost to the last 3 years in this same position, in this same round of the playoffs. Talk about those River Dragons, man. And just sports and local professional sports in general.
Yeah, it's this. I don't want to say it's been a week to forget, but it's definitely not been the greatest when it comes to sports in our area. And man, I really, really, really hate it for the Dragons because it's not like the Dragons played bad. Okay,
double overtime, man.
But it's the same thing that happened last year. It's the same thing. Same team, the Carolina Thunderbirds, because you won't say it. It's the same fashion in double overtime, and it's the same person, Gus Ford, who ended your season. It sucks. Okay? There's no way about it. But, as I've said before, man, that's playoff hockey. And anybody on that team will tell you as well, is that does all the above suck? Absolutely, okay? But that's playoff hockey where, you play all out for over 80 minutes, and then, once you get into the overtime in hockey in the playoffs, it goes from a sprint to now an endurance race.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And if you watch the game, you know how well the Dragons played, especially Trevor Babbitt in goal. And you're like, the man was stopping shot after shot after shot. He was impenetrable. And honestly, man, like I said, it just sucks. It really does. Because I really did think that this was a year. I really did think that the River Dragons were playing their best hockey going into this series. So, like I said, man, that's playoff hockey, okay? And that's really all you can chalk it up to. It's not that the River Dragons had a bad season. It's not that, the River Dragons played terrible, okay? Because the River Dragons had a really good season. The River Dragons did not play terrible. It's just the name of the game. Switching gears over to the Clingstones, rough go in Chattanooga. Man, I know the home cooking is going to be good to have them back home for back-to-back series. I think they'll turn things around in pretty short order I think they're taking on Biloxi starting tonight. So I think they'll turn things around in pretty short order. And then the Lions, I see everybody screaming that the sky's falling. Okay. They've lost 3 straight after not losing for 3 years?
3 years. Yep.
So I will say this. You guys wanted to play in a more competitive league, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, you're in a more competitive league. And not only that, it's not like the Lions are out here getting clobbered, okay? The Lions have I think their 3 losses have been by a combined maybe 15, 20 points, if that.
They were close, every single one. They had the double-digit lead in every single one of them in the first half or at some point. And they've also been down by double digits at some point, but they just can't finish out the games.
But guys, the Lions haven't lost 3 games in 3 years.
Yes.
So people are taking it a little harder than you would expect.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm here, I'm the guy that, I'm telling you, hey, pump the brakes. Okay. Relax. All right. I know the Lions have a shorter season. They still have 4 games to go. The playoffs are still well within reach. Okay. Yep. It's not like the season is torpedoed or anything like that, but at the same time, these are teams that the Lions have never played. Okay. And honestly, they're having to travel. The Lions were outside of Denver the other night. Okay. I'm not even going to say when's the last time. The Lions have never had a road trip that long. I take that back. When they played Mexico, when back in the original NAL, when they had that team in Mexico, okay, that's the last time the Lions have had to travel that far for a game, okay?
Right.
And then on top of that, even though it's indoors, you're also playing in altitude too. It's not like the altitude changes just because you're indoors. So once again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be concerned, but what I am saying is don't freak out because, once again, it's not like I'd be more concerned if the Lions were losing by 20, 30 points every game, okay? They aren't, okay? And not only that, but a lot of these games they've lost on the road, okay? They've only lost one game at home. So, like I said, pump the brakes, relax, okay? Let's see where the rest of this season takes us because I really do think that this team has a lot more to give.
All right, Jack, we're up against the clock, but I got to ask you this. With 12 games lined up here in the next few days with regards to, not few days, but in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The Clingstones will be down at Synovus Park. Are there any plans to do your sportscast live from Synovus Park?
We haven't reached that point yet. That might be something we might look into later in the week or something like that. But once again, that's all going to depend on what our high school baseball schedule looks like. Because that's, love the Clingstones and definitely will be there over the next couple of weeks covering games and stuff. But, like I said, the biggest priority is going to be, especially as we get closer and closer to the state championship rounds, we're going to be focusing on our high school teams as they get ready, to do their run for a championship. So that's where we're going to be at. But, if not live at the stadium, we'll definitely be, there getting highlights of the games for the newscast coming up at 11.
Yeah, no doubt, Jack. And there's 5 teams still playing the playoffs right now, and then 3 GIAA schools, Pacelli, Calvary, and Brookstone, that finished their regular season that will be in the playoffs. So we still got 8 teams alive right now, and we're cheering for all of them. But, Jack, we got Dewey McClain coming on, former Atlanta Falcon, later, and we're going to be talking about the Falcons draft. But I have to ask your opinion, too, before we have him on. We got Jalen Walker. Makes me think we could have got Michael. I wish he'd have dropped it there. But not really more about Jalen because I think that was a home run pick. But trading up to get James Pierce Jr., do you like the Falcons draft?
I honestly really do. And we haven't been able to say that.
You're always positive, man. You're always looking at positive.
That's what we do. That's what a Falcon fans do.
Yeah, we always got to look at the positive outlook.
But seriously, we haven't been able to say we had a really good draft, but I think that this is among the better drafts the Falcons have had in recent memory. They address a lot of needs. Okay. They address a lot of needs, especially on defense where we know we needed it. You got a good linebacker, a great linebacker in Jalen Walker. You got one of the best edge rushers in the SEC. Would it have been nice to get Michael? Abso-freaking-lutely, okay? It would have been amazing if the Falcons drafted Michael. Still super happy that he's going A, in the NFL, B, 11th overall pick, and C, he's going to a team that can compete in the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
So I'm really happy for him. And then, like I said, they had, even in the later rounds, the Falcons addressed a lot of needs. So I'm really happy with this draft, and I'm really looking forward to what this draft is going to bring as we, get through the off season and we go start looking in the preseason to see, what these guys have. So really looking forward to that as well.
All right, Jack, let everybody know where they can find you on social media and when you'll be on television this evening.
All right. So you can follow me. You see my Twitter account right below my name. It's at @JPattersonTV, and the News 3 Sports team is at WRBL Sports. You can also follow us on Facebook at WRBL News 3 Sports. And then you can watch us on TV tonight at 6 and 11 on WRBL News 3. The CBS affiliate here in the Chattahoochee Valley. We got a lot of things covered. So looking forward to a really great week of a lot of great sports, guys.
Jack, we look forward to inviting you to our town hall meeting because we got to get a football team at CSU and we got to get a basketball team at Columbus Tech.
You better be there with us.
I already see the plan you guys have in place. All right.
All right, big guy. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to go take a break. On the other side, the voice of the Columbus Clingstones.
That's him.
That's him. Jack Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2. SportsVisions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
Just a number. Hey, hey, hey. I doubt you'll find another. Hey, hey, hey. So every single summer. Hey, hey, hey. I'll be the one that you remember.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is SportsVisions 92.1.
Did you know you can add renewing your driver's license or ID card to your grocery list? The Georgia Department of Driver Services now offers self-service kiosks at select Kroger and Publix locations. From renewing or replacing to updating your address, the kiosks will issue a temporary paper license, and you'll receive a permanent card in the mail. Skip the line and save time by adding your driver's license renewal to your grocery list today. You'll even get a $5 discount on your order. Visit dds.georgia.gov to learn more.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services.
Auburn family, join us in welcoming head coach Larry Vickers to the Plains as he leads your Tigers into a new era of Auburn women's basketball. This past season alone, Vickers led his team to a perfect conference record and a program record of 30 wins en route to their third straight conference title. As head coach, Larry Vickers brings championship pedigree to the Plains. You'll want to lock in your season tickets early for this new era of Auburn women's basketball. Head to aubtix.com. We'll see you in Neville Arena in War Eagle.
Aflac, helping people for more than 6 decades focus on recovery and not financial stress. Check out their policies at aflac.com. Knowledge, wisdom, excellence, service are the core values of Morehouse School of Medicine. To learn more, go to msm.edu.
Hi friends, this is Keith Hernandez. Ever notice that when your shop needs a part, Napa is there? It's no accident. Napa spent 100 years building nationwide networks of parts and know-how for one reason, to keep businesses moving. Whether you've got a fleet of 500 trucks or a single bay garage, they've got you covered with the parts and expert service you need when and where you need it. Because at Napa, they are the pros that know how to keep you running at full speed. Find the parts you're looking for at napaonline.com.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Great Tuesday morning, everyone. Thrift Barringer here from the Sports Visions Morning Show on Sports Visions 92.1 FM. You can hear me and DJ Jones recap, give you all the latest insight. We got the best interviews every weekday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And what do we like using to make a little extra money while we're enjoying sports? Me and DJ like using Prize Picks. You download the Prize Pick app right now. You do more or less on player stats. And guess what? You can win up to $2,000. That's right. You can win up to $2,000 each day by using the Prize Pick app. And with the NBA playoffs right now, you can do more or less on player stats for all the big games that are coming up, including the big ones that we got coming up here tonight. So go ahead and download that app. Use promo code TIGERS to get $50 on your first $5 lineup. That is promo code TIGERS to get $50 on your first $5 lineup. And while you're enjoying Knicks Pistons, go ahead and do more for whatever the stats are for Jalen Brunson. He's been on fire. It's Prize Picks. Run your game.
Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Denver Broncos 1987 AFC champion DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
I've been blind for a while now. I just got the key that let me
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Jack Patterson, sports director at WRBL, and of course Haley Hardage. Man, I tell you, I enjoyed that interview.
I enjoyed it a lot too, DJ. I thought with this song saying blind, I thought you were going to say, see if she's been blind to having a football team, babe. We got to get it back.
Hey, y'all stay tuned because we got a town meeting, man. We gotta get a football team.
We're starting it up. We're up with feathers.
We are going to rally until it happens. Hey, listen, before we go, let me do this. Let me just say, listen, folks, if you never tried it, you don't knock it.
Yeah.
Don't knock it.
I hate those people, man. If you've never tried it, you don't know anything about it. And it's always, those people think they're the smartest people in the room. Usually the loudest ones are not the one I want to be listening to.
Absolutely. Hey, we're giving away free Clingstone tickets. We're giving away a pair of them, man. All you got to do is just log into our Facebook page. Let us know that you want to go to our to the Clingstones game. And again, When the rest will be, the rest will be history. We're going to figure out a way, but we just got to get some numbers. We got to get some people engaged so we see and feel how bad you want to see the Clingstones.
So we've had several people comment saying they love Sports Vision. So I'm guessing that's the new trend. So thank you to Sandra Vett for doing that. Ricky Rogers says, I'm a season ticket holder for the Clingstones, so I don't need tickets, but I'm loving having the local sports talk back on the airwaves. Love Sports Visions. Javar Rakestraw said, love Sports Visions. Keep commenting. I'll take the love Sports Visions all day, man.
Well, you know what? That gives them a little bit more room to the front.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
they're trying to move themselves
and
up.
The guy who makes that possible, he's the voice of the Columbus Clingstones.
There he
Jack
is.
Johnson, what's up, big guy?
DJ Thrift, how we doing? I just got to say, I know we're going to talk some Clingstones baseball, but how about that win by the Golden State Warriors last night?
Wow. That was fantastic, man.
Jimmy
that was
Butler,
gritty.
Is Jimmy Butler the real deal or what?
He is, man. And that's something that even when the Warriors were winning titles in the previous decade, I don't know if they had a dog like that. I mean, he's obviously not even close to 100%.
No.
To get big buckets down the stretch, to get stops. I mean, Draymond Green's his beard is 70% gray, and he gets the stop.
Weird seeing that him acting the way he does with all those grays, man. It's like, dude, eventually you got to outgrow this, right?
He looks way older than he is. I mean, he's obviously still an athlete in his prime, but to see them still a decade into this run stand up to a Rockets team that's so young and so talented, and obviously probably has more pieces than the Warriors do, but that's the beauty of playoff basketball and playoffs in sports in general. I mean, we saw it with Mahomes and Brady the first time around in New England and Kansas City. It was just Kansas City had a better team, but there was just a level of savviness and craftiness that the Patriots had, and there's a level of craftiness that the Warriors still have. You just can't replace playoff experience, and so that was cool to see, and I'm glad they won, because otherwise I would have stayed up to 1 a.m. for nothing. So,
well, I'll tell you what, man, you guys are going to be in town now for a couple of weeks, and it's going to be nice to be in your city again, and I know you've been on the road with the team, but it's going to be nice to sleep in your own bed for a while, huh?
I'd say so, yeah. I've had a ton of fun seeing the Southeast. We've seen Montgomery, we've seen Biloxi. We saw Chattanooga last week. Chattanooga is a really nice town. It just happened to rain all week, so I didn't see too much of it. But yeah, it'll be nice to be home. And because of the way that the season's worked out, we opened up with the 9-game road trip, and then we were back on the road 1 week after we had the home opener. So this will kind of feel like the first two, I guess, official weeks of Columbus Clingstones baseball. There was a lot of, ceremonies and guests coming through the radio booth, and different kinds of things going on in that opening week, which was without question one of the more notable, memorable weeks that I've had, not just as a broadcaster, but just in my life in general. And so, yeah, that was great. It was also, I guess, for a sport that relies so much on routine, very different. So these will kind of feel like the first two, like, official, what does a home week feel like for us at Synovus Park, and I'm excited to find out.
Jack Johnson is our guest here on the Sports Visions morning show here this morning. And Jack, now that you've gotten into a routine, and of course you have been there, done that, got the T-shirt, do you feel comfortable now?
Yeah, no, we feel great to get all these games in, at least for myself, to get all these games under my belt. Obviously, know I can do the job, but it's great to go into the booth night in, night out, and either prove myself right or prove myself wrong. And so I think, again, I can only answer for myself personally, DJ, but I think the thing that I have enjoyed the most is if there's anything I want to change from the previous night, I just go back in the next night and fix it. And so that's been very fun. I know that the team feels settled in. they're used to life on the road, and but they're also excited to get back to their apartments, get back to their beds, go play the golf courses here in Columbus rather than around Biloxi or Chattanooga or Montgomery or somewhere. And so everyone that I've talked to on the team is very excited that the community has really kind of thrown its arms around the team. I think everybody kind of felt how palpable the energy was opening week, Tuesday night, Friday night, Saturday night. I read somewhere Joe Mock, who does baseball park reviews for baseballparks.com and USA Today, he stopped by the booth on Saturday, I think, last Saturday. And he wrote a review. I would encourage everybody to read it, but he basically, this is the one thing that stood out to me that I want to tell you guys. So in 2003, when South Atlantic team came back to Columbus, the attendance the whole year was 30,000. And last week at Synovus Park, the Columbus Clingstones drew 24,000 fans in a week.
Wow. Yes.
So it's definitely a different era for minor league baseball in this town, to be the premier summertime attraction that I think everybody hoped it would be, and it's moving in the right direction.
Last week we got to 500, 8-8, and then of course I think like weather contributed to it. Then having to play the doubleheader on Saturday, and obviously didn't finish out the series we wanted to after getting the first 2 wins last week. We're 6.5 games back, but it's such a long season, so I don't think that Coach Cabella's worried about the standings right now. But can you talk about some of the things that we maybe need to work on or improve that Coach has talked about here as we get into the homestand? I know I've looked at the hitting; it's been kind of down as of late, but I really feel like the guys are getting acclimated. I feel like that contributed to maybe a little bit of the slow start batting wise.
Yeah, I think the start batting wise was actually scorching hot. They just weren't cashing in on their opportunities to score. I think through the first 8 or 9 games, they led all of AA with at-bats with runners in scoring position. So they gave themselves as many cracks at it as they could.
Right.
It's only natural sometimes that you're going to cool off offensively. They did lose Carlos Rodriguez. He moved up to AAA Gwinnett, and he was dynamite for them. He set the table at the top of the order, and it always felt like both he and Cal Conley 1 and 2 would get on. It would force pitchers to face David McCabe, who I think is, in the resume, the pedigree would say probably one of the better hitters, not just on the team, but in the Braves organization. And so if you're forcing McCabe to be pitched to by getting on in front of him, that led to a lot of success. But I think, the big standout, which I don't think is any surprise to anyone, is the starting pitching.
Yeah.
All of the starting pitchers for Columbus this year have been top 30 prospects. That is incredibly rare to have that on one team at one level. There's like 5 levels of minor league baseball. So to have every one of your starters be in the top 30 is extremely rare. And I think, for the most part, they have all performed day in, day out, up to that ranking, up to that standard. And so the pitching has been excellent basically every game. It's kept them in it, and it's only a matter of time before the bats break out again.
Jack Johnson, of course, the voice of the Columbus Clingstones. Jack, on a lighter note, I know that having another couple of weeks here is to be here in Columbus and in Synovus Park. You'll have an opportunity, if you haven't already, you'll get an opportunity to taste all of that great food that those vendors have down there. I mean, I know you probably had 1s or 2s, but now to really, complete the list, is that something on your bucket list?
At the stadium?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would love to. I don't exactly know where I would like to go first. So I will defer to you guys because you guys have gotten more of the fan experience than than even I have. So I've
I'll
heard
tell you,
that
the
there's
pizza was immaculate, Jack.
yeah.
Immaculate pizza, and the nachos were really good.
And let me just put it out there before you answer, Jack. You know, if I was the vendor down there, again, I'm you know, I got a promotions marketing mind. You know, if I was, I would make it a point to make sure that I took a sample size of something out of my spot up to the announcer, the voice of the Clingstones, and you know, maybe he might say something, maybe he won't, but at least he'll know what my food tastes like. Don't you think that's a great idea, Jack?
I think I really like where you're going there, DJ.
Yeah, man, I tell you, it's
We'll
fun.
see. We'll see if we can't work something like that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's seemed very popular. And I do want to ask, like, you know, for a minor league stadium, how is like the wait time to get the food? It seems like it's very seamless.
Dude, I was in and out quickly.
Yes.
Especially when you can just walk in the marketplace like pizza, you just grab it and go.
And the thing about it is that, you know, most of the, you know, unless you're underneath the you know, the seating, or at least the grandstands, but you know, the one on the two outfield lines, I mean, you could be in line and still enjoy the game. So you don't know that was the great understanding of putting that together, man. Because again, it's just ingenious the way that the hospitality areas have been set up. And again, my whole thing, what blows me away is that, yeah, I want people to love baseball, but you don't have to really understand baseball to have a good time at Synovus Park. So that's the thing that gets me. Is like, wow, man. I mean, yeah. I want a baseball fans to be here, but you know what? This is a hangout. This is the
go-to spot.
Go-to spot. This is the end place in Columbus, Georgia, right now.
No question. And I think it's like you said, we obviously want everybody there to love the game, to love the Clingstones. The reality is that's never going to be the case at a minor league baseball stadium. And we know that. Now, with that said, I don't think I will find, or any of us will find, a more passionate fan base in the Southern League. If an umpire makes a call that the fans do not agree with, they will let the umpire know. I mean, vocally. I mean, it was the most vocal, like, 6 days I've spent at a ballpark. For people that, and it wasn't like if the pitch was a foot and a half outside, they're screaming at the umpire. It was very knowledgeable, but they're just very active, and you could tell that's not people coming to the game sitting on their phones, not paying that close attention. Everybody in the seating bowl was locked into the game, and it could be, you know, Sunday afternoon in the third inning. And so that was very exciting to see. But yeah, obviously the social spaces down the first and third base lines, whether it be the Peach Pit down the first base line, WC Bradley backyard down the third base line, that's ingenious. I mean, that's exactly what every stadium is hoping to have. You see stadiums around America cut out sections of their seating bowl to make spaces like that because they know that's what people want. And so, you know, for a 100-year-old ballpark to be transformed and to provide every kind of modern amenity that you're hoping to find at a baseball stadium in the 21st century, and it's here in Columbus, Georgia, I just think it's magnificent.
So you are very successful, as you made mention, first home week. Now that you guys had a week to like prepare for this next 2-game homestand, do you feel like in the organization is ready, or are there any kinks that you felt like you worked out in that week one that now in this 2-game homestand kind of iron out the stuff? Because you know it's still going to be the same type of crowd that's going to be coming out in support of the Clingstones.
Well, I think if they enjoyed the opening week, they should expect everything to just keep getting a little bit better.
Right.
That's from every aspect. Not that it wasn't great to start.
Yeah.
And there have been other stadium openings, I would say historically and rather famously, that have gone off the rails,
right,
especially in the Southern League. So to open the park, to have baseball played, to not have anything fall or crash or anything, like, just everything went about as smoothly as you could ask for in the opening week. To build off of that is great.
Awesome.
because that means that we're going to hit mid-season form before mid-season. That's everybody's goal.
Jack, as we often say here on the Sports Visions Morning Show, we like to take folks behind the scenes, behind the curtains, behind the ropes. With regards to the next couple of weeks that actually you will be here home at Synovus Park, what are some of the things that you need to take care of off the air, again, with regards to your media relations position and the other responsibilities that you have? Can you give us an understanding of what that entails?
Yeah, sure. We always have a feature story going out in the game day program. It was available for people during the opening week at Synovus Park, and will be this week. It's just a story that I wrote. It was 2,000 words or so on baseball returning to Columbus. I talked to a bunch of different people for that story to get 3 different perspectives, and I think it turned into a fairly interesting piece of the many that have been written on baseball returning to Columbus. So hopefully mine has its share of relevancy amongst that stack, and they've all been very good stories so far. There's always different media requests. We'll have WTBM is coming out specifically today just to speak to our manager and Blake Burkhalter. So making those things as easy as possible for everybody will always be part of the job. Post-game recaps, interfacing with both coaching staffs, our coaching staff, Biloxi's coaching staff this week, and making sure that they've got everything that they need from a baseball side of things. Yeah, I mean, it's so much stuff that you kind of forget exactly all of what you're doing, but you just get it done. That's life, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's always a bunch of different things to tackle, especially when you're home. But we've got a great team, and I'm never worried about my own capabilities to get it done.
Oh, no doubt, man. You've been killing it. Love listening to you on the radio. Heck of a call, especially working Jersey Grand Slam. That was last week. We love playing it on there. Was that last week? Yes, it was last week.
That was a few weeks ago.
Was that a few weeks ago?
I know. We need to hit some more homers.
Yeah, I know.
I talked to Cade about it, and then Cade hit homers in back-to-back. So I think I just need to start mentioning home runs, just planting the seed in a few guys' heads. By the way, we still are looking for the first home run at Synovus Park. Did not have one in that opening week. So the first ever Clingstone homer at Synovus Park is still up for grabs.
And when you do that, we have to stop the game and to bring out the pyrotechnics and all the explosives.
Yes.
And take 30 to maybe 60 seconds to honor that moment.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
We should. Yeah, I mean, that's whatever gets under the skin of the opposing team, we should do. We should have a parade. Bears on unicycles.
Yes. Let the kids come out, run the bases.
The kids run the bases. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, you got to fire people up.
Mid-game, yeah.
I do got to ask, man. We get these game notes from you every single game.
Love it.
There's so much information on it. For a stat guy like me, I could dissect that and look at that all day. Now, I'm asking that because for like football and basketball, specifically basketball, it's more about reacting. It's really hard to get a lot of stories in because basketball is such an up and down pace of game. But for the young broadcasters that are trying to get in baseball, how do you work all that stuff? And how do you know what's relevant, what needs to be said in the first inning compared to what can be said in maybe the 7th or 8th inning? Do you kind of have a plan, or is it just something you just work with the flow when you're calling games with the plethora of information that you got?
That's a great question. I would like to say that I always have a plan, but it's probably more 70-30 riffing and then actually having it planned. And I would prefer it to be as natural as possible because you want your tone to be conversational.
Right.
So if it sounds like, imagine if you had researched something and gone in to the morning show to sit by DJ, and I'm just speaking directly to you, Thrift.
Right.
Imagine if you'd research something, you're like, I'm gonna tell this on the air, and DJ's gonna love it, you know. And so you think about all the ways to say it, and it comes out, and it's just so clunky, you know. But because that's not how humans talk,
Right.
right? You don't spend all day going, I'm gonna tell this person this fact. That's crazy. So the way you think about it is, oh, I was talking about this. Oh my goodness, that's right. I just thought of this thing, and that's when the notes come in, because you pick them up, you look at it, and you're like, oh, by the way, this thing, and that always sounds sonically familiar to people, friendlier. It's not like I'm just spitting out facts, but it's more of a, here's something to supplement this conversation that you and I are having anyways. So yeah, there's a lot of information on there. I would always love, broadcasters always love more time to look at more information.
We do.
And so I hope that as the season gets on, there's even more information. But yeah, I find different niche stats. When Clingstones won on Friday night at home 2-1, there's different filters you can put in the MLB research portal. It's a fantastic tool for our job. But we were like one of 7 teams to win a game in the Southern League without an RBI in the last 6 years or so. That's only relevant for the next day, really. And it's funny, like, you spend 15 minutes researching that, and then like it's basically in the second inning, you're like, oh, by the way, they were one of 7 teams.
Right.
Anyway, here's a 1-2 pitch, and that's like so you better land it if you're going to use it, if you just spend 15-20 minutes looking it up. But that's the fun part of that. And then to answer one of your earlier questions again, like, that's the fun part, is if I say it and it sucks, then I just come back the next day and do it again.
Jack Johnson is the voice of the Columbus Clingstones. And if you hear that voice and you say, that sounds familiar, and if you're on Facebook, you're saying, okay, this makes sense. Now, yeah, that's him. That's the guy. Jack, when we talk about our experiences on opening day and whatever games tonight, whatever, when we coming down to the stadium, Thrift and I, we pretty much got everything on our bucket list checked off with regards to the stadium. Just this one thing. I need your advice. And we don't want to get in the way of anybody. We just kind of want to keep it moving, run through, so that we can say we did that and we know what it looks like. The clubhouse for the baseball players. When do you recommend us taking that nickel tour of the Clingstones clubhouse, or is that going to be off limits for us?
I would imagine if that ever does come to fruition, that'll probably be a postseason thing. There's always activity going on in the clubhouse, even in off weeks. And we like to keep that a space where players know they can go without interference. And so I definitely want to make it a point to have members of the media see the clubhouse, just see what it's like. And it's fantastic clubhouse, state of the art. But I don't foresee that happening anytime during the season.
Thank you so much. I that's something that's been on our bucket list, and we wanted to know how much longer we needed to keep that space on the shelf for the bucket list. And now we know that at the end of the season, that's something we can look forward to doing.
Yeah, no question. And it's probably the best clubhouse you'll find in all of AA. So I think you guys will enjoy it when that day comes.
All right, big guy, set us up for tonight, and you call.
All right, so tonight got the Biloxi Shuckers in town. And this is good for the Stones, because Shuckers were the best team the team they played the best against.
Yeah.
Took the series 4 out of 6 in early April. Now, the Shuckers have really turned their season around, and still need to look a little bit more into their lineup and see if they've made any additions, or if they just had a lot of really talented players start to play better. And I think it could be a good mix of both, because we're still very early in the season. They've got a very talented high A team. And that's kind of the fascinating part of AA, is you're trying so much to promote these guys in a AAA. And so Pensacola, which has won 75% of its games to start the year, well, that's not going to be the same Pensacola team at the end of the year. In the case of a Southern League playoff or playing for a title or something like that. And so Biloxi's improving, but, Columbus has got the best bullpen in the league. It's got one of the best starting staffs in the league. If anybody can quiet a surging offense, it would be the Clingstones. They're pitching in a ballpark which seems so far very pitcher friendly, and that's going to set them up for a chance to win each night. They just need to break through, find some more hits. They haven't scored in 16 innings, and that's baseball, but don't make it 20.
Yeah.
Get on the board early tonight. And so I know that they've got a lot of talent in that clubhouse, and a lot of great talent on the coaching staff. And I know it's a point to prove, to get out, score early, get the home crowd behind them. Lucas Braun starting tonight, Braves number 10 prospect. He's been excellent for the team. And I think the cool part about Lucas is he developed his leg kick, not from anybody current that he could have grown up watching. He developed it from Fernando Valenzuela.
Yeah.
And so that's a really cool piece inside of Lucas, who's a terrific guy, and a dominant pitcher. And I think he'll perform very well tonight and get the Clingstones off on the right foot.
Good stuff, Jack. Oh, by the way, let everybody know where they can catch the call tonight.
Catch it on SportsVisions 92.1 FM, and Valley Live, MILB TV, but just listen to the SportsVisions call.
Yeah, that's the best app.
That's where I would go.
All right, big guy.
Yeah, I'm not saying that because I'm on SportsVision. I'm saying that, yeah.
We appreciate you, big guy. Look forward to seeing you this week, man.
Thanks, Jack.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right. The voice of the Columbus Clingstones.
Yeah.
Jack Johnson. That just has a ring to it, right?
It does, man. He's got the perfect announcer name. Jack Johnson.
He's got to be the coolest young man that I've seen in quite some time. I mean, it's almost stoic. I mean, he has a suave. So, you don't see that in young guys anymore.
Yeah, you don't at all. And that's why I want to go have a cold beverage with him one day.
Now you're talking.
Now you're talking DJ's language, right?
All right, man. Hey, look, we're going to take a break. Don't forget, when we come back, we got a guy that just happens to be one of the main men in Atlanta celebrity. His name is Dewey McClain, and he'll be up on the other side. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, SportsVisions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
I can't wait no more. This is about 3:15, and sure days I got the Bentley Ballet.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the SportsVisions Morning Show. SportsVisions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. One person is dead and a suspect is in custody after a stabbing on Williams Road in Columbus. Police say 22-year-old Abigail Cordura was killed around 8 p.m. last night. The Violent Crimes Unit is now investigating this case. Meanwhile, a legal standoff continues at Columbus City Hall, with 6 counselors clashing with city manager Isaiah Hughley over a 2022 pandemic loan to his wife. Both sides now have lawyers, but neither addressed it in last week's meeting. Council meets again this morning at 9 o'clock. Meanwhile, in the Yellowhammer State, the race for Alabama governor in 2026 is taking shape, with Senator Tommy Tuberville and Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth potentially in the mix. Republicans want fresh ideas, while Democrats, including Doug Jones, call for candidates who connect with rural voters. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Tuesday morning. Those temperatures are in the mid to low 60s, and we're under mostly cloudy skies to kick off the day. Mostly cloudy skies give way to partly cloudy skies by midday, with those temperatures near 80 degrees. Those highs later this afternoon and early evening reach the mid to low 80s. And we're going to be tracking just a few stray showers or storms in that forecast. A better chance of rainfall, though, coming Friday by the way of a front as it sweeps through the region.
You know what's better than a limited time deal?
and unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander Shahara trial attorneys. Paid active dramatization. Past results do not guarantee future results in each case.
Why that guy driving so stupid? We on the expressway, it's raining. He gonna get into an accident. Oh, look, it just happened. He just hit that car. Pull over. We gotta help him. This is bad. This is real bad. What's that? Look, what's that running? It's a dog, it's running. It's on the expressway. It's running. Think he's gonna bite somebody? You see him? That's top dog. He just bit him. Bit that insurance company. Bit him bad. That was real bad. Not crazy that look. Dog on the expressway. That was looking real crazy. Dog was on the expressway. I know who I'm calling. If I ever get in one, if it ever happened to me, I'm calling the dog. Top Dog Law.
Auburn family, join us in welcoming head coach Larry Vickers to the Plains as he leads your Tigers into a new era of Auburn women's basketball. This past season alone, Vickers led his team to a perfect conference record and a program record of 30 wins en route to their third straight conference title. As head coach, Larry Vickers brings championship pedigree to the Plains. You'll want to lock in your season tickets early for this new era of Auburn women's basketball. Head to aubtix.com. We'll see you in Neville Arena and War Eagle.
Covering local and national sports. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show on Sports Visions 92.1. Drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Green Bay Packers. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Jack Johnson, the voice of the Columbus Clingstones, and again, a very talented young man. Boy, I tell you, I don't know how he does it, but he goes in that booth with his notes and his computer, and he has a conversation with himself for about 3.5 hours or so. Very rarely do you hear him having any guest that he might feature or that he might have to share some time with. But the fact of the matter is that this young man is very, very talented, very entertaining, and he has a conversation with you, and it just happens to be a ball game going on. And that's probably the best way I can tell you, but we are really excited about it. Our Columbus Clingstones, looking forward to, again, the homestand that will start tonight, 7:05, right here on Sports Visions 92.1. Jack Johnson being the voice, and of course, our very own Brian Thomas is the voice of Synovus Park. So with that said, Thrift, we are looking forward to the Clingstones and their 12 games, their next 12 games being here in Columbus.
I can't wait. Should be a lot of fun, and we'll be cheering on the Clingstones.
Speaking of a lot of fun, one of my great friends in the world, and he's one of the celebrities that the biggest celebrities in Atlanta that you won't hear about, but I guarantee you this. He could be in a room with Chipper Jones, Dale Murphy, Dominique Wilkins. He could be in that room, the same room with Steve Bartkowski. But I guarantee you, if you are from Atlanta, if you are of anybody from the hood to the capital, you will know Dewey McClain. Give it up. Welcome to the morning show, Dewey McClain, my good friend. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful, man. Always good to talk to you. And again, I really I value your friendship in more ways than one. I was telling Thrift, and they were saying, is this the Dewey that we met before, that we interviewed before? I said, yeah, this is Dewey, the same Dewey. I said, but and I went into a little bit more detail about, who you are, what you've done. And I tell you, man, in talking about that and making him understand it, I got to do the same thing for the folks that are listening out there. Dewey is a former Atlanta Falcons football player, but he's more to it than that. He's, of course, made the transition into politics. He's a state rep from District 100, and he's also a former employee of the city of Atlanta with Parks and Rec, doing his thing there. And again, more importantly, he worked in the labor field with regards to not just in the city, but he was a guy that fought for the NFL players, the retired players. And again, yours truly is a beneficiary of his great work. Dewey, thank you so much on behalf of the many, many ball players that you helped in the NFL. Yeah.
It was an honor. It was always a labor of love, since '98, to bring those 3-year players on. And I was very glad and you were always in the back of my mind when I was doing it. You, Robert Levette, James Mayberry, Reggie Berry, just a few of those players that we should have taken care of a long time ago. And 2020 was just they brought me back on as the chair in 2017 of the NFL Player Association, and I said we've got to get this done.
Yes,
because I don't know how many more years I got left to do this. So let's get this done. And the owner said we could do this.
Yes, indeed. Dewey, and people think I'm just joking when I say this, but you are a celebrity in your own right in Atlanta, Georgia, and probably more people know your face, that smile, that voice, more so than some of the sports stars that probably have scored more touchdowns, scored more points, hit more home runs. It's amazing, and I know that you are a part of Atlanta, the fabric. When when they roll out all these great events, and I know you have carte blanche of being a part of it, because again, you have been so instrumental in the fabric of what's been going on in Atlanta, not just from the standpoint as a former player, former Falcon favorite, and the work that you did for the city of Atlanta as well. To elaborate a little bit on that, because again, I want people to understand exactly how you have been contributing in that town.
There you always say, you where you make your home, you try to make sure that you take care of the folks at your home. So I was very proud. Well, the Falcons brought me here in 1976, so I'm not gonna date myself, but in 1976, and my family and I moved here in '78, and we've lived in the same community since 1978. And all I can say is that leaving pro football and then going to work for the city of Atlanta and Parks and Rec was something that you always wanted to give back. You always wanted to make sure that you could add value. And I wanted to say that that's one of the things that I always try to do was add value. Jim Washington, who's an old former Hawk, he was the one who hired me in 1985 when I left pro football. And Jim and I are still close to this day. He still thinks about, hey, Dewey, when I hired you, I never knew we would do so many things. But the fact is that you got to stay busy. So I say those things to say that what I tried to do was make sure that I stay busy. I try to do the things that, be in places and put people together. And that's why, DJ, I love, being on your show. And I want to say thank you very much for allowing me at least once every year or once every couple of years to be on your show, because it means a lot. So, and wait a minute, and it keeps me out there a little bit too.
100%, man. And
so, wait a minute there. And so I guess what I may need to do is say that when I left pro football and I went to work for the city, then I became the president of labor, which was the AFL-CIO, which I want to say thank you. That was great. But that I just finished my 12th year in the House.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. It's kind of like I've only had a few careers. So you had sports and you had community service, or some people say politics.
Right.
Dewey, when you said giving back and it's something you've always wanted to do, but you're doing it with the NFL former players, you're doing it now within the city of Atlanta. Where did that come from? Was that at a young age you knew that you were going to be a servant leader, someone that's always working for everyone else and trying to make sure everybody is getting what they need and supporting them however you can? Where did that come from, and who are some of your mentors or people that had that influence over you to want to do that?
Well, Trent, I'll always say that the coaches I had growing up was good. When I say they were good, they wanted you to give back, because if you gave back, people will give to you. And that's one of the philosophies I think I've always had, is that if you do good things, you just do them. I mean, and not expect anything in return. Just go do them, and good things keep happening. So I like to thank my roots in Oklahoma for making sure that I was brought up well, and that I'll never forget where I came from, because, the DJ and I know, and we all know, it's a very thin line between those who make it and those who do not make it.
You said that right. Yeah.
It is not like it's a gap. It's not like it's an ocean. It's a very thin line. So I think if you learn to give, you'll receive. I always say you got a good friend there in Columbus, Dean Smiley, who always say you make your life on what you make your life on what you get, but you make you make your life on what you give, and you make whatever you do on what you get.
That's right.
So I want you all to know that I've always taken that to heart as well.
Yeah, I tell you, it's amazing, that I talked to you, Dewey, and I know you personally. And, politics and me, that's just, I'm just a sports guy. Some people can do other things. I just do sports. And I'm fortunate to still be in the media and still being able to around the game. But I admire you for what you've been able to do, because, where we come from, if you got an issue or you can hit somebody in the mouth and not go to jail. I mean, football is a game that's physical, it's emotional. You can go out and, but in politics, you gotta hit a different way. You gotta be physical a different way. And you have done that to the grandest. And I want to commend you, because I mean, I don't think I could have done that.
Well, and that's one of the things that, I'm glad you said that, because that is something that I had to learn when I got there, because it was like, I'll bust you upside your head. You just don't know that. But you think about the decor, you say, we're doing that, you can't do that. So what you do is there is you always think about, okay, if you do that, what's gonna happen? If you're so it's not like playing checkers, it's like playing chess.
Okay.
So you got to make sure you can play chess because we also know that who are your friends today could be your enemies tomorrow, and who are your enemies today can be your friends tomorrow. We learned that when we played football, because I would never thought that I would have went to the New Orleans Saints and they were our rival. It was like I couldn't fathom it. But they offered me a job, and I said, "What's your problem? You better go try to make some money. Whoever giving you a job,
yes,
you got to go work for what you put on."
Some people do need a good smack in the head, though, Dewey. So I just want to throw that out there. Sometimes they need a good smacking. The words don't always get to them, but that like a smack does. But I got to ask, man, especially with the NFL former players, and giving back, with the concussions and everything else, all the research that we've gotten, you have been such an integral part that makes sure the guys that laid the foundation and helping growing this league from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and now we're in 2025. How's that progression coming along and working alongside the NFL to make sure guys like yourself, DJ, are taken care of for all the hard work and stuff you did helping grow the league?
Well, I was very proud. I was very proud in 2020 to do our last CBA. A lot of people talk about the insides, what makes it make the top. So I like to say that you listen. And when I said in 1998, bringing the 3-year players on was something I wanted to do, because since 1993, 3-year players were getting a pension. and the guys who played before 1993, they suffered a lot more. God, arthroscopic surgery didn't come along, for a while. So all I'm saying is you can think about those things and you listen to your players. And what I've tried to do is listen. I don't know if DJ told you, but we got a little bump April 1st, 2025. We got a little bump because
yes, sir. Yes,
that was
sir.
one of the things I negotiated in the 2020 CBA was it was a 10-year contract, but a lot of us are going to be gone within those 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So can we put a little something in there to help us? And so we did. But this was the first time ever that we, as former players, got anything halfway through the CBA. So that was something good. And anybody who played after 2006 who didn't have a healthcare savings account got a one-time $50,000 healthcare savings account. So there were just some things that you wanted to put in, and I like to say this too because the future players, the active players were the ones who voted on it and said, that's right.
Yeah.
And what I got to them was to say that whatever you do for us as former players,
mm-hmm.
you're honestly doing for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can assure you, you will be a former player, and you wouldn't want to be one of the ones not to say that I didn't help former players, and now I'm one of them. And I want the younger guys to know that we stepped up, and so therefore they can continue to keep stepping up.
Dewey, you have remained in the forefront. Obviously, you have had, and we didn't even mention the fact that you were at one time the president of the NFL alumni, retired players or alumni association, whatever. I mean, you've had a number of different leadership positions with the former players. And again, and I know that as a servant leader, that's what you do. But we're a tough breed, man. We're a tough act to follow. I mean, the personalities. Most of the personalities. Hey, I gotta say it, buddy. I gotta say it. Most of the former players, their attitude or their personality is not gonna win them an Oscar. But you stand right there in the middle of all of that, yelling and screaming, cussing and fussing, and before y'all leave the room, it's something is done. Progress is made, and that's another gift that you have, brother.
Well, Darryl, thank you very much. But I want you to know that, because we are. That's why it's only 53 of us on the team.
Yes,
we got 53 individuals. I mean, boy, I tell you what, and it's like, wow, it's like herding cats. It's like herding cats. Mice, chickens, and dogs. That's and I'm saying to you, like, it's like, okay, but the only thing that you need to realize when you go in the room, who are the mice, who are the chickens, who are the cats, and who are the dogs, because you got to learn to separate them and say, we are in this together.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I like to say thanks to the owners was, and when I made the proposal in 1920 to bring the 3-year guys on, I said, in 2020, pro football started in 1920. So 2020 was our 100th year of being in pro football.
Yeah. So
what I sold them on was, wouldn't it be amazing that to tell everybody in the world that we're the only professional sport who best their players in 3 years, from 1920 to 2020, and they said, "Wow, that's pretty good." I said, "Yeah, I mean, there's no other sports that can say that." And they took it. I want to say line, sink, and hooker.
Yeah,
hook,
yeah,
and they ran with it too. I mean, it's kind of like there's no,
yeah.
Well, that's how we take care of our guys, and I say that because I want you to know that it was a team effort, it was a group effort.
Yeah,
and that's how we have to make this work. We have to make this work by all working together, because as long as they make money, we can make money, and I think that we need to realize that. And since you're talking about that, Darryl, 1985 is when I left pro football.
Right.
And 1985 was when the year that we formed the Atlanta chapter of the NFL Players Association.
Yes.
October of 1985. In fact, this October will be our 40th year of being an active chapter in pro football.
Good deal. Good deal. Dewey McClain is our guest this morning on the Sports Visions morning show. Dewey, we're up against the clock. We got about 5 minutes left, and I know that you probably need 5 more minutes to tell this question, or at least to answer this next question. But you know, I'm still a lifelong Falcons fan, and I know as a former player, you love the Falcons. You're in the city, you support them, and right now they invite you back to a lot of things. Arthur Blank and his administration has taken a bang on the head over the last several years. They hadn't been to the playoffs in 6-7 years or so, and a lot of people have problems with some of the decisions they've made. Not so much as the recent draft, but the decisions made in the front office. What do you say to the Falcons fans out there? I know you're an ambassador for the Falcons, but what do you have to say to those fans?
Well, you know, I would just like for them to, you know, to say be patient. Raheem Morris has only been here a year, and you can see the direction that he's taking the team. You know, I thought our 2 draft picks this year was outstanding. I think all of our draft choices, from Drake London, to Pitts, to Bijan Robinson, they have all contributed to the success of the Falcons. In fact, I like to say that. But we also know that we're getting a little older in some of those places that we need to start showering up, and I saw that too. But you can't be 31st on defense on rushing the passer.
Yeah,
that's not going. That won't win you. That won't win you the toilet bowl. So not only just Super Bowl. I like their first 2 picks. Now what we got to try to do is get them in, get everybody working together as a team. And I think once we get them working together as a team, we can do some things. We've got a good young quarterback. He moves well. He throws, and we know we got $100 million backup quarterback. So all I can say is that just give us, let's give them 10 games. Let's do the first 10 games and then bring me back on the show and we're going north. That I can tell you.
Yes.
I think if Raheem Morris wanted to have a winning season last year, he could have won that last game. He could have won one more game to be 9-8, other than 8-9, and he knows that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, do me a favor. Make sure that you show some love to Teddy Reese. Obviously, the dean is retired now, but Teddy Reese is our new state rep here from Columbus. And, quite a few people from Columbus, Georgia, being in when you go in the session up there, I'm sure.
Well, I like to say, Columbus has always been in the house. I mean, Teddy came in and Teddy does a great job of taking care of the people in Columbus, but he also takes great care of taking care of the folks in the state. Teddy brings value. He really does. We like to keep Teddy, but I think as I look at Teddy in his bow tie, sometimes I'll be saying to myself, I think that he want to take that bow tie someplace else, to high office.
Yeah.
But because he has that demeanor, and Columbus is in the house because the minority leader, Representative Carolyn Hughley, is from Columbus as well.
That's right.
And she did a fantastic job this past year, trying to keep all of us together, making us understand what we all need to do if we're ever going to try to get to the majority. So you got some great leaders down there. And wait a minute, Dean Smyre, he might be. Dean is the only person. I don't know if you've been to the Capitol, but if you come by the chamber,
oh yeah,
he has a nice picture right there going into the chambers, and it's only 6 pictures of color, and he's one of them. So I like to just let you know that Dean Smyre is still welcome and still in the house.
Hey man, look, Dewey, we appreciate you so much, man. And time just gets away from us, but we'll have you back real soon. You take care, buddy.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all very much. Have a good day.
Thanks, Dewey.
All right. Hey, folks, you hear the music. You know what that means.
What a show.
That's going to do it for this edition of the Sports Visions Morning Show. On behalf of Thrift Barringer, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball.
But I need you now.
You've been listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. This is Sports Visions 92.1.